Yeah, this ain't gonna be a super long one, kids, because Rocky's ain't feeling no goods. So, I don't know how long we're going today, dude. Yeah, I'm a little late. Shit happens. My dog isn't feeling good. I almost didn't go live at all. He is lethargic and not feeling good. He had some food I don't think agreed with him. I could hear his stomach fucking growling from across the house. Also, tonight, YouTube is probably watching me like a goddamn hawk, so we are going to play it nice and be extra cautious. So, to YouTube and Google. Yeah, they actually pulled down that live stream where we talked about what they're doing to me illegally. So, anyways, we're done with that. But yeah, my boy isn't doing so good tonight. So, if I end the live stream, it's because he either threw up or shit himself. But here, let's see if he can eat something solid. There you go. Go lay down, buddy. Understandable, my pup had a seizure for the first time a few nights ago. Scared the ever-living shite out of you. Yeah, seizures are not a good thing for a dog. Dogs should not be having seizures. It's alright, though. He'll be alright. I will make sure that my boy is alright. Anyways, thank you guys to those of you that actually came and hung out at live streams yesterday. Holy crap, that was cool. So I'm just kind of finding my way. I don't know if it's what I'm going to be doing. 1 second, let me do this real quick. I had to adjust this, so. There you go. Sorry. Yeah, if you had a camera crew, you could frame everything. Yeah, well, if I had $1 million, I could frame you for stuff. But anyways, yeah. Still dealing with the aftermath of stuff. So we'll see what happens here. So, also, different chair. Also, still need to zoom in more. There we go. There we go. What's your take on the SIG 320s? That's an old story, man. I've got 3 of them on the wall. Or 2 320s and SIGs, man. I like SIGs. Did they have issues? Yes. Did they handle them wrong? Yes. Are the guns unsafe? Yes. But a $40 part fixes them. So inherently, they have a flaw in their design that's easily fixed. But it's just like anything, the U.S. military and the public became beta testers, and people being people, we found the way to get them to fail, and we were able to make it do it consistently. So. What is up, Desert Armory? Damn, Jimmini, I like your gear. My dog's doing pretty good, too. He's had a rough time. Sorry to hear that, man. What's up, Cody? Dude, thank you for leaving your whatever going last night. CZ P10F, my thoughts. I like the CZ P10F. I think it's a good gun. I've had the full-size competition models. I've had the standard full-size. I've even shot the 45 ACP version. The CZP-10 is available in 45 ACP. It's pretty solid. Yeah, no problem, Joseph. So yeah, the other thing I'm working on right now or dealing with is just kind of working on the channel, trying to figure out live streaming. I did a test yesterday, and then I did a very late night, just kind of whatever stream, just to try out that time of the night, and then I need to decide what time I'm going to start doing Twitch during the day. What's the fix? You need to put a flat face trigger in it. So that's an M17, an original M17 right there. And I put the X5 trigger out of my old X5 trigger into it. and it eliminates the issue. It changes the way the trigger shoe is installed in the gun. So if you look at an original one, when you take them out, the trigger shoe piece and in the front that can be interacted with by a piece of detritus, a screw, and whatever the reason why it's been going off. If you have the flat face, it's shorter and can't interact with anything against the frame in the same way. Anyways, get in here and see what's up. Redneck, what's up? What do I think of the PDP? I prefer the old P99 design, or even the PPQ or design, over the Toblerone look. It's the same reason I really didn't get into the original Beretta APX, is they just don't look good. With a few changes, they look really good. Let's see. Does it matter that it's the Nitron with the smaller hook trigger? Any factory curved trigger 320 built before 2021 is susceptible. If you have a question about whether or not your gun is even part of the issues or part of the batches that were built, you need to contact Sig Sauer and give them your serial number, and they will tell you whether or not your gun was even part of the issue. Not a handgun guy yourself, sweet collection regardless. Thank you. No, I switched it out because I modify my guns. I got the M17 for a fair price, and I decided to mess with it. So it's been fully converted. It's no longer, I took the finish off the slide. That's why it's silver and not coyote. It's got an X full frame, a threaded barrel, a compensator. So yeah, I just completely changed it because I really wanted to. No, they are not all at risk of going off, 777 Chuck, and if you want to continue to spread bad information, you're going to go away. Actually, you know what? Tonight's not the night. Number one, I am not a SIG shill, so don't type that. Number two, I understand that, yes, they do suffer from uncommanded discharges. Number three, those of you that think you know what you're talking about, don't. And number four, I'm not in a good enough mood to argue with people tonight, so if I take you out, you deserve it. Do I like revolvers? I respect revolvers, and I have a few, but I don't really like revolvers. You know, it's an interesting concept, but I kind of like slapping a mag in a gun, you know. I kind of like semi-autos better just because of the action, because of the way they work. My first gun was a 1911, so I'm really into 1911s. So this is one of my old chairs. Sorry it leans back too far, but I just bought my first firearm for EDC. It's a Shadow Systems. Thoughts on them? Shadow Systems makes okay guns. They're way too expensive for what they are. All Shadow Systems is a Gen 3 clone with some upgrades. So you're paying the exact same amount of money for a Shadow Systems that you would if you upgraded a stock Glock, and you can get a Gen 5, which has ambidextrous controls and better ergos, and you can upgrade the trigger to any trigger of your choice. You're going to wind up spending the exact same money upgrading a Gen 5, and you have a Gen 5, versus buying a Shadow Systems, which is nothing but a Gen 3. What's up, Danielle? Such a good ergonomic pistol. It shoots fairly flat for what it is baseline, in my own opinion. So much potential. I mean, you can feel that way. Honestly, I don't think the gun is actually that good. The Legion version is good because of the extra weight of the tungsten frame. For the cost of an M17, when they weren't, you know, in trouble or considered a dangerous gun, they were selling for almost $700. At $700, there's a lot of other guns I would buy before that. I would buy a Canic Rival before I bought another 320. Air Max, what's up? Yeah, Can I get your top 5 ambi pistols? I've never done a top 5 ambi pistols. That's a hard one to do. I may have to do a video if I was to do that, just because, I mean, ambi, almost every new gun on the market's ambi, and I haven't messed with them all yet. And ambi doesn't really do much. I shoot left and right, but even when I'm operating a external safety, like on my 1911s while I'm shooting left-handed, I'm over the top of the slide with my right hand. Let's see, it was between SIG 365. The Shadow felt better. You paid $875 for it. I get that, and like I said, I'm not faulting you for buying the gun. The gun is a fairly okay built gun, but it's based on a 35-year-old design because that's how patents work. How much do you think a 2014 FJ Cruiser 6-speed manual 4-wheel drive could go for in an auction? I have not looked at one in a long time, but I guarantee you it's a lot of fucking money. 15, 20 grand probably. 6 speeds are very rare. Yeah, you said you paid $100. That's pretty cool, man. How's the Twitch stuff doing? I hear the short about YouTube being such a bunch of dykes. So I haven't done a Twitch stream yet, but I did 5 hours of streaming here on YouTube yesterday, so apparently nobody got notified. But a few people showed up. Justin popped in, Cody popped in, a few people popped in. Being left-handed, I have a Gen 5 Glock 19 MOS, but I'm interested in a smaller ambi overall. Thank you for your advice and opinion. Smaller than a Glock 19, I can't pick up the gun to confirm, but I'm pretty sure the fuse is ambidextrous. Smaller than that, I don't really shoot small guns. I think the new Shield Plus, isn't that ambi? The difference is the new Glock V switch is not manufactured by Glock. Yeah, no, that is the purpose of why they did that. When somebody manufactures an aftermarket part, that's no longer under the purview or control of the manufacturer. So the redesign they did with the ramps underneath the striker, as well as redesign of the backplate, ensured that no previously factory manufactured switch could fit inside the gun. And they basically followed the letter of the law in what they created. They knew that what they were doing would be easily defeated. They didn't give a shit. They're Glock. They literally followed the letter of the law, unlike YouTube, who does whatever the fuck they want. Yeah, I popped in both times you went live doing the VR stuff. Yeah, I know. Thanks, man. Sorry. I know that it was really kind of boring, but it's kind of what I anticipated. Just kind of grinding out some games. I need to get the games set up so that I can just jump into them when people show up. I think that would be better. Just came across your channel looking up the Daria DY9 reviews. What is your current opinion on the DY9? Any magazine issues? Techno Taco. Yeah, I like the DY9. I've had good runs with it. I've got a little under 1,000 rounds through it in its current configuration. That's it right there. That one is the DY9 with the island ported barrel on it, and I need to actually do the full review on it. As for the magazine issues, I'm assuming you're talking about because of the design of the magwell. ETS and Pro Mags have some fitment issues because the base plate is wider than it needs to be, so it hits the magwell. But KCI, straight up Glock, and I'm trying to think of the other manufacturer I was trying. There's like 4 different manufacturers, including the PMag Metal Mag, the AMAG or whatever the fuck, the Mekar, the Mekar 18 rounder. A buddy of mine had one, and that works in the gun. Otherwise, it's a very solid gun. No switch is manufactured by Glock. You know that Glock invented the first switch, right? It was a Glock employee that created the switch on the back of the gun. So let me ask you this: what's your take on the Martini? I don't really have an opinion on it. It's a pretty inexpensive gun. The Ross Martin or Ross Martini, it's not my cup of tea. You prefer hollows for self-defense? From my understanding, they stay inside the body, no exit wound. Is that correct? Candles. It's more accurate to say that the chance of penetration is lower or over penetration, but it is always possible for a hollow point to still penetrate whatever you're shooting, depending on where you shoot it. If you shoot something like, if you shot me right here with the hollow point, there's a big chance it could penetrate all the way through. But if you get center mass with the hollow point, the odds of it staying within the target is way higher. And hollow points are my preferred carry. Number one, they leave a larger permanent wound cavity. Number two, it reduces the risk of overpenetration. And number three, they're typically a heavier round. So for my 9mm, I carry 124 grain, but you can go up to 154 grain hollow points, and they'll do a lot of work. Biggest issue with Glock is the price. Would you recommend clones to people like the Darien Dagger and RXM, as they're actually reliable but not overpriced? Paul, what's up? Yes, I would recommend clones because I've said it many times. My problem with Glock, well, it's more than just I don't like Glock. I don't like Glock the company because of their business practices and the way they deceive the consumer into believing their guns are better than they are. And that leads me directly into number two. Their guns are worth $300. They are a Taurus level manufacturer with a better finish, if that makes sense. Their guns have the same tolerances as $300 guns. So there's no reason that gun should cost more than $300. They have a fully realized automated process. 90% of their guns don't need fitting. I've never seen one, even a competition one. Does Glock do a custom shop? I don't even know if they do one. But their performance trigger guns, are those hand installed? I don't know. I don't think so. So there's no reason for them to charge that much other than they have their name. So let's flip the script and ask what's your opinion on the 365 AXG Legion. It is way too expensive for what it is. That's the only problem I have with the 365 AXG Legion. $1,000 for a compact gun, it's too much money. It gets into that same issue where if it's sold at a certain price point, guns make a lot more sense. If you sell a 365 AXG Legion for about $7, I can understand that because it is an aluminum frame gun. It deserves to be more expensive than a base model. But a base model macro without the TAC Ops pack and shit is what, $6 something? There's no reason to charge $400 more just because you have an aluminum frame. Glock ergonomics suck. You aren't wrong. Thoughts on the Gerson high power? The MCP 35, I've said many times, is the closest recreation to the Browning high power I found in my testing. Now, I only tested one from each manufacturer, but the Inglis, the Springfield Armory, and the Gerson, I tested all of those, and the Gerson was the most accurate to the original Browning. I have some 185 grain hollow point 9mm that perform really good in my Plus P pistols and my PCCs. That's a hell of a heavy round, dude. That's like a wad cutter for a 45. Can agree it shoots flat as heck, but at the same size and arguably the Glock 19, but slimmer. Not really. It's got a shorter barrel. It's got a longer frame. What do I think of the Canik TTI Combat? I think I wasted my money, and I didn't even pay for it. So I've got one right there. I've got the Canik TTI Smoke. I traded a 2011 that I didn't like for it. It's the only reason I own it. It's a Canik It's a Canik Meta SFT Pro with a couple of changes to it. So it's a good gun, period. And then it was ruined by putting Terran Tactical's name on it and bumping the price by $300. It's not worth $1,000. And I know it's weird to hear somebody continuously say something isn't worth an extended price, but that's the main problem I have with most of them. And that's not like a socialist view. That's not like everything should be cheap. It's the gun that it's based on costs this much. The upgraded version of this gun should not be an order of magnitude more money. Man, I appreciate your knowledge and information. There's so many factory hounds out there, it's not even funny. So here's the deal, man. I have gotten review samples from Gerson, T-Sauce, Rock Island, Sig Sauer. They've all sent me review samples. Darius sent me that top. Darius is actually coming on as a channel advertiser, not a sponsor, an advertiser. It does not guarantee that I'm going to suck your butthole. Like, for the longest time, I was a huge DWX proponent. I love the DWX. I bought one when they first really became reasonable in 2023. So it came out at the end of 2022 as a 2023 gun. A buddy of mine, Mr. B, he had one, sold it to me, and it wasn't optics cut, so I wound up selling it. But in 2022, 2023, when that gun came out, it was amazing. I touted all about it. But even if Dan Wesson today were to offer me free guns for life to say something nice about it, I'm not taking back what I've said about its finish for the last 9 months. Man, I appreciate your knowledge. No problem, dude. So let me ask you what your EDC is for the moment, because I've cycled through a few, but my main squeeze has been the Bodyguard 2.0 with the Monsoon Tactical Works and the Holosun 507K. That's a good choice. My daily carry right now is that pair. Wait, where is it? Yeah, that's it. I was about to make all pair of ordnances look the same, but that pair of ordnance 1911 Black Ops is my daily carry right now. I like it because it's a solid gun. It's got an excellent trigger. It is a Series 80, but it's upgraded and I polished it out. So it runs really good. It's got just under 3.5, 4 pound. You know, where you pull on it always can affect it, and you got to measure it 50,000 times. But yeah, I like it. It's got a good trigger on it, and it shoots well. Daria finally got the DY9 out to you. How's it shoot? Better than the Dagger? Oh no, I bought a DY9 6 months ago, and they sent the ported top. They sent me the ported slide 3 months ago. This high point never failed me. There's a high point up there right now. I shot it suppressed. I'm surprised it didn't break in half. Boods, what's up? The P95 Ruger is the smoothest gun I ever shot. I like the 95. I had the 95, a 90, and an 89. Man, that's what's up. If the FNX Tactical wasn't a chunk basher, I would carry that. Oh, no, the FNX 45 is an excellent gun. Excellent, reliable firearm. It is absolutely way too thick. The fuck, Stone? Redneck, are you on our Discord? Can you go yell at Stonehaven and stop playing with himself and get on here? Oh, wait, it's Wednesday. Never mind. He's got a church thing. My pen has a light. Thoughts on the Springfield 4-inch comp? I don't really have one. I didn't get to shoot one. A buddy of mine had one sent in, and I put an optic on it. I do have the 4.5 comp, and I'm going to do a video on it because I have the traditional Echelon up there in the Sharps Brothers frame, but I've also got several different comped guns. So I'm going to do some comparisons and some, see what I think. Thoughts on binary triggers, and then do any of your guns have them? Binary triggers are kind of like FRTs or toys. That AR-15 has a Franklin Armory binary trigger in it. It's an excellent trigger. It's a flat face. It is like a 5-pound trigger, so it's not great compared to a competition trigger, but it's better than factory. But they're just for fun, honestly. I mean, I guess if you find yourself being attacked by multiple home invaders, it might come in handy. But man, you go through ammo so fast. Michael, what's up? Did you see that somebody already made a switch? Yeah, dude, it's simple. Their design wasn't different enough. All Glock did was guarantee that original Glock switches could not fit, like switches made for the original Glocks could not work with the V. That's all they did in order to bypass the ban that was put into place. Can we agree the older we get, the pickier you get with situation-based firearms, given the hype nowadays? So I'm a little bit different than everybody else, Koraz, in that I didn't start into guns until I was 38 years old. I'm a very late adopter to some things. Guns, like I said, 38 years old was when I got my first one. I didn't get my first tattoos until 2 years ago. I didn't get a dog until this year. I didn't get an erection until, never mind. How do you like the RXM with the Sharps Bros frame? I just got the magwell for mine. Oh, I love the gun, especially with the magwell. See, I've got the Echelon frame. It has the magwell on it as well. That magwell interchanges just because I've been too lazy to order another frame. I went to do it when I ordered the Jimmini trigger for the RXM, and they were out of stock, so I was like, fuck. So if I want to shoot just one of them, I'll just pop the magwell off since it's a metal magwell, and I can just swap them over. But anyways, what I was going to say is I'm not as into like trends with guns and shit. Also, it does leave me at a disadvantage over guys like Garand Thumb, Kentucky Ballistics, people that were either military, law enforcement, and have a longer background than I do with firearms. Yes, I've been doing this for the better part of a decade, but I don't have the desire to go out and shoot every rifle made because I don't give a shit about rifles. Would you grab if Glock made a 1911 in the future? I would definitely get one. I'd still make fun of the company, and I would have them send it to me, be like, oh, hey, look, I'm going to give you guys a chance now. Why don't you prove me wrong? And then I'm going to still bash the fuck out of them if the gun's trash. Recommendation on budget red dots. You can look at O's site. They do a fully enclosed red dot for 150 bucks. Gideon Optics, Sally, CV Life. CV Life actually has sent me out a few different optics. I've checked out a bunch of their optics in the past. In fact, there's one on top of that 320 there. Pretty solid. True, the memes are too funny about them. Lol. You got into guns at 30. Well, there you go. Best first-hand gun you own if you live in California. It starts with a plane ticket, and then wherever you get off the plane, there you go. Do not have anything in 50 cal right now. Sold my 50 caliber Desert Eagle a long time ago. now that everybody's making a 2011, do you think we'll ever see a Smith & Wesson 2011 that takes M&P mags? Now, I'll say this, Smith & Wesson's 1911s are actually pretty goddamn nice. Their guns are pretty nice. I really like their scale that they use. It's the same cuts they use on the slides for their M&P series. I would be interested in actually seeing one that took M&P mags because there's a lot of M&P mags out there. I actually would not be opposed to it. Will we ever see it? I don't know. If I had a gun that is too special to you. If I had a gun that was too special to me. What do you mean by that? I got learned into guns at 8. I'm 28, so does that count as 20 years? Yes, it absolutely does, Paul. The first time somebody teaches you how to handle a firearm and you decide that you want to shoot them after that, you've become inundated and not inundated, you've been introduced and indoctrinated into gun worlds. Smith & Wesson needs to brack the 5906. Yeah. What's your gun store called? It's called Wind City Armory. I am going to put a few of the guns back up on the website. Like I picked like a dozen that I'm selling. But that's about it right now. I'm an M&P fanboy myself, so a 2011 that takes the same mags would be great. And it would be interesting because then you could have a 2011 that takes the M&P mags, and then you can have the FPC for, a combo kit, like people like to run Glock 19s and a Caltech Sub 2K or CMMG Banshee that takes Glock mags. It'd be interesting to see somebody with a Smith & Wesson 2011 and a FPC. That would be kind of cool. I would actually rock one of those. I would definitely do a review on those. Smith & Wesson, make a 2011 that takes your fucking mags so I can do a video. Also, I need you all to hit the like button and subscribe. I need to get us over 200K. I hope that might actually be a milestone that might make YouTube sit up and listen to me and start cooperating. I need to grow the channel naturally. I don't ask you guys for money. All I ever ask for is likes and fucking interaction. So if that's too much to ask, I'm sorry. I hope that being a vegan hasn't taken everything out of you. No, I got hit to hay. All right, Joseph. The CSX is kind of no. The CSX is closer to like an old baby Browning kind of design. It's nowhere. It has a different trigger mechanism. The internals are completely different. It uses a trigger bar. I get where you're coming from. It has kind of the look, but it's a completely different operating system. We'd love to see you hit 190 this month. Yeah, so we're gonna hit 188 tomorrow based on where the numbers are, and so we'll see what happens. I doubt it, just because I know I'm shadow banned right now because of all the arguments and litigation that I'm about to start with them. So don't be surprised if I get fucking banned for a week, because after I did the first video of them illegally taking down a video, they hit me with another one 4 days later, and then they took down the live stream where I complained about them. And in all three cases, they said I was facilitating the sale of firearms. So good evening from the enchanted island of Puerto Rico. I hope you're doing well. Hey, Joe, what's up? It'd be cool to see Glock branch out and do something different, or maybe not. No, see, the problem is Glock needs to stay in its fucking lane and drop their price on what they currently make. Seeing them build another gun doesn't interest me from Glock. You know, they've had the rotating barrel 46 for a while now, and they won't release it to the U.S. market because they know the U.S. market doesn't like it, or at least their core buyers wouldn't like it. So Glock needs to just stay in their own lane, keep making their shitty guns and overpricing them. Steve, holy shit. Thank you for the huge donation. Thank you, bro. No, Patreon is actually anti-two-way completely. Can't be shadow banned. I'm new here. So there's different ways they can shadow ban. Where are you finding this? If you found it while you were looking at a live scroll, then that's why. I'm just appearing in the live scroll. But shadow banning means you don't populate naturally, and you also don't show up in searches. No, subscribe star is not the answer either. So the biggest problem with going to another platform, and even some of my longest running people don't know that I've had Rumble and Playur and 2 other fucking platforms forever. I've been on Rumble for 3 years. I've made like 27 cents. So I don't push those platforms because those platforms do literally nothing. And then somebody did one time say I should go on Pepperbox, but Pepperbox is invite only, and I've said some less than flattering things about several of the owners of Pepperbox, so they're never going to invite me. Brandon Herrera, all the guys over there, Matt Carricker, I'm sure he's still got a big part of it. All the guys that created Pepperbox, they do what they do, and fucking more the power for them, but we won't get along. You're getting the TX22? Awesome. Ruger's been getting crap about the RXM. They're making a bunch of money off it already. I doubt they will redesign. There's no reason for them to redesign it because, Redneck, a Switch was never designed for the RXM. Is it possible to modify one to put it in there? Yes, but Ruger themselves never designed that gun to take a Switch. So it's not their fault, their responsibility, or their need to manufacture something to counter, or remanufacture something to counter a problem that isn't their fault. The fact that there's already pictures on the internet of somebody modifying a V to take a Switch is absolute proof of why they don't need to. Have I ever handled the Smith & Wesson all-metal competitor? What's not a Switch? Do you even know what FRT stands for, son? It's the most manly stream ever. Gaming PCs, guns, and stuffies. Oh, yeah, well, you pay me enough, I'll also put on a big pair of fake tits. I'm a very, very comfortable man in my skin. I also have a dog. Okay. So how is the switch on a Glock not a switch? What are your thoughts on T-Sauce 1911s? I got a couple, actually. My most current one would be that one. No, yes, that one. That's a T-Sauce BR9. No, you can put FRTs in Rugers, and you can put the Glock switch in an RXM. What I'm saying is Ruger didn't design. So a mechanic, architect, whatever, a designer for Glock invented the first Glock switch. All switches are loosely based on his original design. So the fact is, someone at Glock invented the original Glock switch. That's why they are being held more accountable. That's why their gun got banned. You can't ban Ruger. Thank you for your clarification. That's why I wanted to wait and see what you said. But you can't ban Ruger because their gun is capable of taking parts that have to be installed illegally. You know what I mean? They didn't design it to take that. They just used an existing patent or an existing platform to do it. That's why I'm saying I doubt they will. It's not their only product like Glock is, and they don't really rely on PD contracts and make money off Mini 14s, 1022s. Yeah, Ruger makes a lot of money off the RXM because it's a $415 alternative to a Gen 3 Glock, and it's optics cut and nicer out of the box. But yeah, exactly. What I'm saying is, when you create something, you are responsible in a way for what happens with that design. So by a Glock engineer creating the first Glock switch, Glock became responsible for switches being around. Look at how many other striker fired guns exist on the market, how many other guns out there. Nobody is marketing switches the same way Glock switches were done, because Glock literally designed their gun to be switchable. They're going to find a way around everything. They can't blame Glock for real. They can blame them for the switch, but it was supposed to be only for military, but now kids got it. Yeah, so exactly, Clut. But that goes back into what I'm saying. The problem is they can be held accountable because they designed the gun around it and designed the item. Now, like you say, if somebody comes up with a way to create, like people that recreated the Lightning Link and things like that, if they design the product themselves, that is literally not Glock's problem. But Glock created the first switch. Glock also didn't hide the fact that they created a switch. They shouldn't have ever publicized it because it was never going to be legal for sale here. I don't know any countries that it should have been legal for sale. It sucks because machine guns should be legal, but the fact of the matter is they created their own problem. I'm not saying that it's whatever it's used for is their fault. I'm saying they created the device. It's going to cost them less money to take it off the market in Cali and keeping their product overall. They know this. I just think they're trying to figure out how to say fuck off the right way. No, what would have happened, Redneck? So California bans the Glock, right? California bans Glock. Glock says, screw you, whatever, we're not going to stop making our guns. What happens is Glock and politicians that hate guns, and California's full of them, they start pressuring their compatriots in other states. Hey, look, we banned this gun. We should all team up. Let's get them out of the hands of law enforcement. Because if California bans the Glock, right, then they're going to be wanting to ban it from police use. Then all of a sudden you have all of these corporation or institutions, police, limited military uses, things like that are going to abandon the gun. That would hurt them overall. But by following and cowing down to California and creating their V, they were able to maintain their impartiality with the whole thing. World War vet talking how they use to file the firing pins. Yep. They should have just made more Glock 18s. The problem is they came out with the Glock 18 too late. Problem is there's no legal full transferable ones. But even if there were, they'd be $100 grand and in the hands of private collectors. Besides Sharps Brothers, do you think there's any solid RXM chassis options? Yes, Icarus Precision makes a great one. It's not that I'm opposed to their guns, or their frames. I like the Sharps Brothers frames because they're a little bit more elegant and they're more geared towards a carry option, whereas the Icarus Precision is more of a competition style. In fact, we're doing an Icarus Precision frame for my buddy's 365 build. Icarus, I need another frame. They treated the gun like a toy as a company and paid the price. Pretty much. I'm sick of this stupid Glock situation. The Glock situation is the 320 situation. Have you noticed how almost nobody outside of chat people talk about the 320 anymore? Oh, RXM, yeah. I was hoping Glock would finally create something new, but nope. I was hoping with the V series they would give it a better trigger or something, but nope. Here's a funny thing. Go over to Glock store right now. Go leave me, but come back when you're done. Watch his video on the V. Their fucking name is Glock store. So he uses a dead weight trigger pull, so he has a 4.5 pound set of weights on his desk. And he takes a Gen 5 Glock 19 and he pulls the trigger. The weight stays on the ground, right? Says, okay, 4.5 pound trigger. It moved it, it didn't lift it. He takes the V series, like, I think it's the same trigger. He goes and he does it. He literally lifts the weights off the table before the trigger releases, and then he says it's lighter. That's a fucking shill. Have I ever done a video on cleaning pistols? I might do that over on Twitch. Honestly, cleaning them here, it's, I'd show you how to take down your guns and field strip them every time I look at a gun. So if there's a certain gun you want to know about, 1911s, Echelon, RXM, anything like that, go and find the long form version of the video, which I may start doing in the shorts when I do those. But go look at the long form version of that gun, and I field stripped them all. Glock never jammed. You're fucking stupid. I'm not even going to play this game with you. I got that discontinued Glock. It's fine, dude. Your aftermarket support is so strong for Glock, it doesn't matter. If they took them all off the market right now, it'd be decades before we ran out of mods. Well, here's what happens. Politics is shit. So Ruger refusing, let's say they refuse to redesign the gun, right, or stop the sales of it. They make a lot of other guns. They make rifles, they make handguns, they make all kinds of stuff. What is to stop California from becoming YouTube? And, well, they're in San Bernardino, California, so that makes sense. But what's to stop California from all of a sudden finding something wrong with every product Ruger makes and then shutting them down? So that's why Ruger wants to just do that. Have I started a Twitch channel? I've got Twitch. Twitch. So I'm going to start doing midday on Twitch, which is kind of awkward for everybody else. Because I do this streaming here. Rocky, what's on your neck? Come here, buddy. Rocky, come here. Rocky, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Rocky, come. Okay, it's just a sticky thing. I'm sorry, buddy. Come here. Sorry, I saw something on him. I thought it was a tick. Sorry. Hopefully it keeps going up. No, Glocks are not going to keep going up in price. What you're experiencing right now, if you get a good offer, man, just sell the fucking thing. Glocks are going to come back down very fast, especially since somebody already released proof that they can be switched. So they're no longer going to be valuable because the gangsters aren't going to give a shit because they'll just buy the Vs. What's your favorite gun? 1911s. What if all these laws are to protect YouTube headquarters? They were shot up once a long time ago. If you look it up, a content creator way back in the day. Whoa, what is with this shit all over you today, bud? Hold on. Checking my buddy, dude. He is fucking weird tonight. Yeah. Anyways, back to the whole Twitch thing. I'm going to go live tomorrow for my first Twitch stream over there. It's the Jimmini Show over on Twitch. Although I might change that to Seated VR. We'll see what happens. I will bring my shitty Glock 21 that doesn't run more than 3 shots in light strike primer. Yep. Did you know the gun 1911 was made in the year 1911? Did you know that it wasn't actually made in 1911? 1911 was the year it was adopted. It was actually introduced to military trials in 1908, 1909, and modified over the next 2 years until it became what the military eventually adopted. What do you recommend for CCW? Purchased 365 Legion as my first firearm. Had no issues, but it's pretty heavy. If a 365 Legion is pretty heavy, you're going to have an issue with almost every EDC unless you drop down to like a 380. Yeah, the AXG Legion has an aluminum frame, but it's still lighter than a Glock 19. It's a good point, but they aren't really say shite about the revolvers at 1022. 100% what you mean, though, if they're stubborn about. No, it has nothing to do with them actually having the problem. They will create a problem, just like they're doing with Glock. Can you spell that out real quick? TheJimmini Show. So hold on one second. I don't know if they do or not. I don't know. They make it for the RXM. I don't know why they wouldn't make one for a 365. What do you think about it, Dan Wesson Specialist in 10 millimeter? I just bought it and got it this week. I like the Dan Wesson Specialist. I like their 1911 lineup. I hate their fucking finishes. Their finishes are crap, but I like their guns. Yeah, the Specialist is an excellent gun, and 10 millimeter is a fun cartridge. Let's see if my login is still in here. Yeah, it's just under the Jimmini Show. Oh, Seated, SEATED, just like seating. Seated VR. It's the same name as my other channel, Seated VR, here on YouTube, that you should definitely go and subscribe to. Thanks for your review. You're welcome. You want a Glock 23. Why would you want a 40 cal? What do you mean about the Dan Wesson finish? So I'm going to give you guys a close-up on it so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Fucking let the phone go, asshole. So this is my Dan Wesson DWX. It's a $2,200 fucking gun. You see the lines there? So we created a battle-worn, slightly like apocalyptic finish on it because the finish was terrible. Do you see that vertical line in there? That scratch was made by setting it down on another gun, and it pissed me off so much that we took it down. But do you see all those lines in the metal? That is not us. I did not create that, neither did my buddy Alex. Those are the chattering marks from them cutting the slide. That is machine marks from them making the slide of the gun. That is the level of lack of care they took when making this gun, and then they filled it with Cerakote that was so thin it scratched off. No, this is a 2025 gun, Ake. This gun is less than 4 months old. This was a 2025 build. My 2022 had a better finish than this gun. Now, the single stack 1911s have a different finish on them than the DWX. But my main problem is the machining. The gun itself is flawless mechanically. That gun runs excellent. We just did all that. I distressed the trigger. We distressed the body. That is fake rust. That is not real rust on the gun. Yeah, unfortunately something happened. Maybe the acquisition of Colt by CZ created an issue. However, I will also point out that Platypus's wait time has been cut almost in half, so I don't know. Maybe they increased their pace, so it's reduced their quality. I can't speak to that. I haven't seen a new one. But let's do a gun tour of the guns today. So Greg is just hanging out. He's chilling by my radiator, and that's a radiator for my computer. Yes, I have radiators. But that's the Canik TTI Combat. It's a pretty solid little gun. Based on a Canik Meta, which is why the gun is pretty solid. That 3 letters on there, I'm actually going to have my buddy laser the entire side of the gun if I decide to keep it. I'm going to have him actually laser off the TTI Combat and the logo, and I'm going to put my fucking logo on it. So I'm going to actually turn it into the Canik TJS Combat. Just on Twitch, a Turkish cop shooting another Turkish cop as he's showing off his dry firing, assuming a Canik. That's weird. That is a TSOS Night Stalker Gen 1. has a Fusion Firearms K trigger in it, custom stippling by my buddy Greg. Not that Greg, that's a different Greg. But my buddy Greg down at Liberty Arms does excellent work. Full custom build. My buddy replaced some of the internals, but that one it's an air rack gun. That is the Gerson Influencer X. That's the single stack 1911. It's been completely refinished. I tore it all the way down and had Taylor's and Company in Winchester, Virginia re-blue the gun. It's rocking the O-Sight SE. Thank you, O-Sight, for sending that over. Doing some filming on that. We have the Gerson Match X, so that's a 2011, again, custom stippling done by my buddy Greg. We did a tree bark stipple on it, which looks friggin' amazing. Yeah, that gun sticks in my hand, absolutely no problem. Does Greg know he has a human named after him? Maybe. If he watches the videos, I've never told him. Obviously, the DWX. As you can see, if a gun is capable of having a red dot, most of them have red dots. I'm actually out of red dots is the only reason they're not all red dotted dot. Also, I need a different red dot for that one because it's got posts for the RMR. So I need to get a plate, I think, or find the plate. Milo, I think, is on the floor. So Milo fell down when I pulled the 1022 down. We'll start on this side. We got the Sarsmal's K2, which a buddy of mine is very interested in, so that might be going away. The CZ SP01, non-tactical, meaning it doesn't have a decocker. It only has a safety. I'll get her out of there. Him out of there. Shiloh's the girl. Ruger, excuse me, fuck me. Fusion Firearms XP Pro. Hey, Fusion, I need the comp version, please. AJ's burst sing. Paraordnate CCW. That is an LDA 45 ACP single stack. One of the things I do to a lot of these old guns that don't have front strap checkering is I use Talon tape. I highly recommend it. You should use a heat gun when you apply Talon tape because it allows it to stick to the gun. You frickin' idiots that just put it on there and wonder why it falls off. It's because you need heat. You need heat, man! Fusion Firearms XF Pro. I figured might as well put the steel frame striker stuff up top. Ruger RXM with a Timney trigger, Sharps Brothers frame, and a Holosun EPS full size. Thank you to Holosun because they sent that out. Sharps also sent me the frames too. Duh. That is the Echelon, the original, with a Mechanic ME03. That optic is actually coming off and going onto the TTI because that's already a Canic. I figured I might as well do that. Springfield Operator 1911 chambered in 45 ACPA. My daily carry, the Paraordnates 1911 Black Ops. It may or may be charged right now, or I may have just forgotten to put the hammers down. You don't know. Don't break into my house. You won't have to find out. TSOS BR9 Double Stack Duty. That is the Gen 2 with the bull barrel. That's a 2011. That is the Rock Island 1911 Double Stack. So Paraordnates, that company, created the Double Stack 1911. STI created the removable frame version and called it the 2011. So Paraordnates is the granddaddy of the 2011s, and Staccato is the bitch that trademarked the name. Chris Sphinx STP Compact Alpha. By the way, Staccato will never collaborate, consummate with me because I don't like their company. Heritage Rough Rider Barkeep in 22 long rifle and 22 Magnum. You're going to start calling ACPA that? Yeah, I do it to piss people off. My Sig Sauer M17 full custom build. It's got a Harrington Arms comp on it. 3-port comp. Threaded factory Sig barrel, but it's an aftermarket barrel because a factory barrel is not that long. It does have a Sig X full frame. It's got my X5 trigger that used to be in the 320 X5. And it's got an optic cut on it. Also, that is bare metal. It's just well oiled. My buddy John sandblasted that for me. That's why it's got a silver front sight. But it still works. The night sight still works. Haha. Down here we have the SIG 365 Fuse. So it's a macro with a longer barrel in it. So it's a 3.7. That gun holds 21. That gun holds 21. It's interesting. Below that is my X5 Legion. Has the Armory Craft dual adjustable trigger. If you look at the position of the 365 and even the original 320 X5 trigger. You can see how much farther back it's set. That is adjustable for pre and over travel. It is set to the point where it has less than a millimeter of travel before it fires. It's like a sniper rifle trigger now. It's not, still only like a 3-pound trigger, but it's very good. Any thoughts on the SAR 9 CX? Nope, never seen the CX, or have I? Do you think SIG 365 or Shadow Systems better personally? Honestly, the 365, because at least that's a novel design. The Shadow Systems guns are all copies of Glocks. Rock Island 50E. That is the square barrel, CZ kind of inspired gun. Where's my goddamn flashlight? Where's my goddamn electric car, Bruce? Oh, here we go. I can do it this way. Ow. Hold on. I got this, mommy. So, yeah. Square barrel. It's kind of interesting. The recoil system is below, obviously, and that roll pin is actually the lockup for the gun, so it doesn't use it back here like a locking block or anything. It's actually retained up here in the nose. Very nice. Has a Siley Wolf EDG fully enclosed optic on it. Oh, I thought it was blown out all of a sudden, but no, it's just shiny. There you go. It's just a little dirty. Is YouTube going to start getting the Glock and staccato treatment soon? What do you mean, like banning content with it? Maybe. I don't know. Do you remember when COVID first started? They were taking down channels and videos that were saying COVID and pandemic and shit. So, you know, they're a private company. They are out to make money. And I don't fault them for that. The only reason I have a problem with them is because they are required to follow their own terms of service. The fact that they violate it to try to punish 2A channels is where my problem comes in. Daria, DY9 with the island port comp. So the port is built into the barrel. The slide moves around it. It's kind of cool. It has an aim win. Yeah. That is, all these optics were optics that were sent to me to test. So except for that one. They send me out optics and I test their optics. The TSOS PX9 Duty, that's the one I'm going to compare to the Echelon comp because that's a comped 9mm as well. Which one was the other one? I want one of those Gen 2 2011s. Underwood Arms makes a frame-mounted comp for them that looks pretty nice. Let me know if you get it. Let me know how it works, Limp. And then the Arex Alpha. That is a really nice gun, but I don't like it. And I don't like it because it's fucking boring. I don't know why. You'd be like, oh, it's a competition style 226 clone. But something about it, it's cool. It's not me. So that one is not long for this world. I think that's about it on the wall tonight. Oh yeah, my custom AR-15, Franklin Armory binary trigger, Butler adjustable bolt carrier group, 750 adjustable gas block, full unique AR's upper. That's their custom muzzle brake. Again, my buddy Greg did the stippling on the grip for me. All my guns get custom grip work if I keep them for any sort of period, especially if they're a polymer-based gun. So that one is going to get re-stippled at some point. So that is what, that used to look just like that before my buddy stippled it. But I also have these two frames. My buddy Drunk Mouse manufactured those. So they're kind of like LFA Apollo frames. So I'm going to see if they work. And if they do, then I'm putting that rainbow frame on one just for fun. Patriot, what is up? You thought it said RR on the slide. Yeah, no, it's because of their lettering. Yeah. But yeah, this is the E, the enhanced version, which basically meant it came with the lightning cuts in the slide, the fiber optic front. It came with the optics plate and 2 mags. So I think they made a budget line version of the gun now, which only has 1 mag. You like binaries better than FRTs. That binary trigger has been in that gun since 2019. Full disclosure, I didn't build this gun. This gun was given to me as a gift, and it's been upgraded over time. The upper is a single piece that I got from Unique ARs for review, and it was really solid. Things like the Burris that's on there, Burris sent that to me as an ambassador. I love them for that. Thank you very much. It's a great little optic. But yeah, I didn't pay for anything in that gun other than the stipple work. So if we're going to be completely honest, I have $0. I have $100 into that gun. Oh yeah, and the Benelli M2. My buddy passed on it because he's being a little bitch. I mean, hi Sam. Do you have an M&P Smith & Western? Yes, I do have a Smith & Wesson M&P. Burris scope, really? Yeah. Burris actually makes good stuff, man. Especially, like, if you want to put them up against the current lineup from Vortex, like their Strike Eagles and stuff, they're right up there easily. I have no problem. Do I have a butterfly knife? No, I've held a butterfly knife once, and I cut my hand open, so I don't mess with knives. How do you become an ambassador? That's so cool if I'm an ambassador for Maker's Mark. Do you remember SFR? He pops in here every now and then. SFR introduced me to Burris, and they sent me optics. So the Fastfire E that's on that gun came from them. The Fastfire C that's on that gun came from them, and the scope on that one came from them. So they've been just really generous and solid for the last few years, and I appreciate them for that. They've never really asked for anything in return. Have you tested those grips yet? No, honestly, I've not, Patriot. It's been very far down on my list of to-dos. It would require me to take apart one of my other guns, and I just haven't had the energy to do it. You should use Night Force. Sure, give me some money. What do I think about the Ruger 57? It's pretty solid. That's awesome. Whatever happened to DB? Did he ever make it back from Boston? Just kind of a personal thing between he and I. He just doesn't want to do it anymore. So, you know, I don't have a problem with him. He doesn't have a problem with me. He wished me the best of luck, and I think he just got tired of the lives. So, he has a life of his own. He's got a beautiful life, beautiful lady in his life. So, people come, people go. He didn't want to be a mod anymore, so he's not a mod anymore. You recommend closed optics on carry or open? I have a 507K. Climate and use case. If you know that you're going to be using it in inclement situations, like if you know that you're going to be using it a lot in situations where you might be dropping for cover, rolling around, rummaging through places that have a lot of detritus, you may want it enclosed. Ammo, what is up, dude? Yeah. No, he contacted me outside. He's got my number. He and I spoke. Yeah, that's all there really is to it. He and I spoke, and he just didn't want to do it anymore. I don't blame him. How do you feel about the Canik TP9SF Elite? I like it. Honestly, though, I would recommend moving over to the Meta platform, getting an SFT Meta. The SFT Metas are the same level of quality, if not better. They're ambidextrous. They're a more modern take on it, and they have a better sight system. So what have you been up to, Ammo? Burris has always made good scopes. They do, man. The glass is nice on that one. Me and my buddies took that one out to 200 yards because I don't shoot very far. My local ranges don't go out very far. The Middletown's range only goes to 200. So we were just shooting it at 200. We had no problem dialing it in and using it. It fucking works. No problem, man. Bad idea to get ports on ultra compact 2011s? No. So I hate bagging on a platform that I'm actually on and that I have people listening to me on, but stop fucking listening to YouTube when it comes to putting ports and comps on your guns. The people that only shoot in the daylight and only shoot on ranges as competition shooters, they're the ones telling you, oh, you're going to get all this blowback shit. When you're in the shit, you're in the moment, you're in the fucking things, you know, you don't always blow your eardrums out when you fire a gun without hearing protection, and you're not going to always blind yourself with the shit that comes out of a compensator. Anything that makes your gun function better that you train with, you can train around. So yes, do they have more muzzle flash, or do they have more shit coming out of them? 100%. The amount of shit that blows back out of a full 4-port comp like that, or port like that, or the Fusion firearms, it's noticeable. But it's not distracting once you shoot it. Once I got over a few hundred rounds in that gun and the other gun, I stopped noticing it completely. So what you do is, if you're going to get a gun that is a 3-inch, 3.25-inch barrel that's ported, shoot it. Shoot it a lot. Get used to it. Get comfortable. In fact, that brighter flash and all that shit coming out of your gun could be considered a benefit to you if you wind up using it in a situation. Some dude sees a giant flash coming out of your gun, they might confuse it for something crazy. The Canuck rivals are super nice. Yeah, I love those. Aside from being stupid loud. And again, your inner ear sphincters will shut instinctively when you start firing a gun. After that first shot, your body will adjust. The stuffed animals like that AR. You like that? She rubs her taint on it because it's cool metal. When in doubt, high point. We've got one up there. I know what you meant, Tommy John. The 3-1 with ports looks epic for carry. Yep. Is the TP9 SFX still comparable to the Meta? In terms of like shootability, trigger, and things like that, they're very close to each other. However, the Meta has the better sight, so you don't lose your rear sight when you change your optics. It has the ambi controls. It has the better takedown, in my opinion, the way the top comes off, so you don't have to slide it all the way off, which allows for longer rail interactions. But if you have a TP9 SFX, you don't need to upgrade to a Meta SFX. If you don't have either, I would recommend going with the Meta because the Meta's not that much more expensive than the TP9, at least where I am. So I would recommend stepping up to the newest generation. I would think that if you're really in a situation, your adrenaline or whatever to prevent your eardrums from exploding. Yeah, the human body is absolutely astounding in what it's capable of dealing with, handling, and recovering from. There is literally nothing in this life that your body can't recover from except life itself. You will die from time. You will die because you're alive. Anybody that's ever been born anywhere is doomed to death. That is the only constant that our bodies can't recover from. I mean, a jellyfish is technically immortal, and technically a lobster is immortal, but time in their bodies, not their bodies, but time is the enemy of a lobster. You can have 100-year-old lobster, but the problem is if they can't molt their old skin, they die. So, there are many instances of people surviving gunshot wounds to the head. There's dudes that have had railroad spikes driven through their head and survived. Another noob question, are Wilson pistols like the SFX9 3.35 higher sprung than regular 2011s that are not fully custom? I don't know. I haven't racked one, but the main thing is a lot of the ones, if they're geared towards duty, they're probably going to be slightly heavier sprung. If they're geared toward competition, they're going to be light sprung because speed. And so 9mm dudes used to load them super hot to try to get them in a major power factor. They don't do that shit anymore. So a lot of guys are running 115 grain now, so you want a lighter spring in it. For duty and things like that, they're planning on running plus P loads, 124, 147 grade. So those guns are just naturally higher sprung. But that's a super easy fix, man. Just get a Wilson Combat Lightning kit, dude. It truly is fascinating. Agreeing we're such an advanced being. We got it all. We got the big brains and the advanced bodies. Psych, what's up, dude? Thank you. Gonna go get some food. All right, dude. Do you know anything about PDW Daniel Defense? I've never messed with the shorter barrel Daniel Defenses, but my buddy Stone has a 300 Blackout Daniel Defense, integrally suppressed. He likes his. The guns are fine. They're well made with excellent parts, and that's all that matters. They're a buy once, cry once gun. If you're getting into it and you just want that one gun, you want the gun that's done, you can get a Daniel Defense, a Knight Armament, LWRC, Noveski. All those are excellent, expensive firearms that you won't have to put another penny into. If you want to build a gun, then you start with other companies, Ruger, FN, Colt, Stag, any of those companies that manufacture ARs that are in the $1,000 range, and then you can upgrade them. A cool midway would be like the Q Sugar Weasel. They do a PDW length one, but yeah, you can get a Q Sugar Weasel for like under $1,800 usually, and they are probably as good as a DDM4. I agree. There's a Fury precision ported build I did. I noticed concussion at first, but now I barely notice it. Yep. Yeah, honestly, when I first started shooting the Compton, the ported guns, I was like, holy crap, that's a lot of crap coming back. By the time I was through like 3 boxes of ammo, I'm like, oh, this is fucking great, dude. I don't even notice the flash anymore. Your brain can obscure things. Did you know, and this is without exception, you can always see your nose. You are always able to see, unless you have no nose. I'm sorry. If you're Michael Jackson, I apologize. But the human brain can obscure anything. The fact is, we are always seeing our nose. Our brain keeps us from noticing it. Otherwise, we walk around all day fucking cross-eyed looking at our noses. I run 147 grain in my Taurus for EDC, but it might drop to 115 grain. There's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure that you're always training with what you carry as well. That is one where I go. So like these are 230 grain hollow points, so I train with 230 grain. If I were to switch to like 180 grain hollow points, I'd probably drop down to 180 grain semi-wad cutter or something for training. How are you doing, Ifwa? I'm a little late to the party, but I wouldn't say there's nothing your body can't overcome, at least with current medical technology, but I have no context. So, there are diseases that ravage the human body that we don't have an answer for. ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, we don't have a cure for that. Parkinson's, we don't have a cure for that. But we also didn't have effective treatments for cancers when cancers first started. And nowadays, many cancers are extremely survivable. We didn't have an answer for AIDS when it first started. Now there are people that are living full fucking lives just with medication. So the human body can adapt and overcome any situation. You also see it, and not even just human bodies, living creatures, animals, for example. Like my buddy's dog had 4 legs, has 3 legs, doesn't give a shit. It just moves on. It doesn't have a choice. So it's amazing what we can adapt to. We should go back to the bows and sword. Yes, we should. And then everything will be 800% more gruesome. You actually have to look your victim in the face as you're trying to take them down. Yeah, and everything can be much harder to treat. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go back to bows and crossbows and swords. My nose gets in my way. Ah, you must be Jewish. I've been thinking about getting the Gerson 23X Match X. Do it, dude. I got one. They're excellent. Although mine's fully rebuilt and full of Wilson combat parts, but do it. It actually shot really well stock. What you want to make sure is you get one that's got the X on the comp. That is a newer released version of the gun. They sorted out some of their spring issues and rates and stuff. As long as it's got an X on the comp, then you can just buy one and run it. If it doesn't, if it's like a 24 build, actually mine is a 24 build, but if it's an early build, you might have to change a few of the springs. Did you see the Sugar Weasel went 200 rounds before failure and a Golden Web burn down? It was the AR that goes the fewest rounds before complete failure. I would want to see more samples tested, but that sucks. I didn't see that. I've got friends that have them and they run fine for them, so they got a bad sample? I don't know. Uh-oh, hold on. There you go. What's the AR back there? It's a full custom build. I wouldn't say that's your body overcoming, but medical technology. It's a combination of the two. So when I'm talking about how we can live forever using those meds, yeah, that is technology coming along with it, but our body responds to it. But there are people that kind of miraculously heal from shit that we can't prove either. But yes, I will say that. Why is everybody so mad? I don't know. They're easily modifiable. Why keep so many dangerous weapons without locking them up? Because we keep the dangerous weapons locked up. They're called prisoners. You don't understand how a gun works, my friend. At any time, did you see any of them look at me in an aggressive manner and threaten my life? No gun has ever threatened me. People have threatened me, but no gun has ever threatened me, Bob. You need to understand the difference between the two. You are anthropomorphizing. You are giving human emotions and desires and complications to an inanimate object. That has no more... actually, everything on my... This is as dangerous as those guns right now. And if I wanted to kill you with this bundle of wire, I could. It's just as dangerous as a gun. What is wrong with weirdos? Thoughts on super safeties? Not my thing, but if you like them, go for it. Have fun, enjoy it. They were working on a thin Under Armour type exoskeleton. I need that shit. Well, I mean, did you see that video a long time ago? Like they had like it was bulkier, but there was a soldier that was doing squats and he did like 700 before he just got bored. He wasn't tired and the suit wasn't wearing out. He just got tired. He got bored. And he did like 700 500-pound squats. How do you feel about the placebo effect? Believe it or not, I'm actually much more cognizant of it when I take medications and things. Like I don't trust the effects on some medications. Also, I'm always worried that my doctors are trying to like test shit on me. I don't like the placebo effect, but the placebo effect is real. If somebody doesn't know what like in the terms of medication, you tell somebody that this is an anti-inflammatory, you can trick your body into believing it. What's my nicest pistol? Don't have nice pistols. All my pistols are all fucky. Did you see the Brandon Herrera's new video? They already put switches on the V model. Yep. What if you get robbed? What if your weapons get stolen? That is still requiring the act of another person, Bob. That is something the guns had no part in. And if the guns get stolen by somebody who uses them in a terrible manner, that is still the fault of the person using the gun. You don't understand. Like I said, I'm trying to help you understand. I'm not berating you. I'm not trying to be insulting to you, Bob, but you don't understand what you're talking about because you don't understand the situation from the point of an objective view. You are coming into this as somebody who has either experienced gun violence, which is possible, or you get all your information from the internet, news, and media coverage. Those outlets, news, especially in this age of 24/7 fucking news clickbait shit, they are trying to get your attention, so they make everything worse. Did you know that everybody agreed to, so they've changed the definition of a mass shooting. Back in the day, a mass shooting, I mean, I'm not trying to be like insensitive when I say it, but a mass shooting required going for a high score. Today's age, a mass shooting is anything that involves 4 people injured. They don't have to die, and it can include the shooter. So if a shooter shoots 3 people in the leg and then shoots himself, that is considered a mass shooting in the eyes of the media. So again, it's the way that information is presented that affects how effective it is. Tricked my body to believe I have a Wilson. Uh-oh, I just got a notification. I think another video just got taken down. Oh, wait. Holy shit. Somebody gifted me a membership to Tactical Llama. That's fucking awesome. That's what homeowners insurance for. No, my guns get put away if I'm not going to be near them. I have a reinforced gun room that has reinforced. The gun room has no exterior windows and it's underneath the ground with brick and a solid door that can't be broken into easily. Anybody can get into something if they really want into it. But like when I go out of town, all my guns go into a secured gun room. So it takes somebody wanting to do shit to get to my guns. Do I have a Desert Eagle? Nope. Why do your pistols look fake, but also if they aren't fake, nice collection? Thank you, they are real. The reason they look fake to you probably is because many of them are modified, and also I have stuffed animals and 4 of them and 2 of them inside of a computer. You trick your body into believing you have a Wilson 2011? An armed society is a polite society. Look at Europe. Yep. You have 5 pistols. 3 of them are nice. Bull Armory TAC Pro. Nice. Kimber 2011. Nice. And a Springfield TRP. Great choices. Love watching your 3DS XL video. Dude, that is like one of the best tech videos I ever did. And it's kind of funny because if you watch that whole video, I literally had a GoPro. I don't remember if it was just clipped onto my hat, but I had the wire wrapped around my head and I had the camera clipped to the front of my bill of my cap so that I can get that top-down view. Mouse, what's up? But I get pissed when one gets scratched. See, I don't, man. That's a $2,200 gun, and I don't care. I threw it. Those guns have been redone. I spent 3 days meticulously disassembling, prepping, and reassembling those guns, and they both have scratches on them. And I threw a $2,000 CZ Shadow Orange, CZ Tactical Sport Orange downrange. Those are nice guns. Thank you, Inner City. Most of us have gun safes that are bolted through our floors. I mean, I'm not going to actually agree with that one, Andy. I know a lot of people have gun safes, and they think that just the weight of them is going to protect them. Mine are secured. Ow! What do you do for work? So I'm a YouTuber, and I own a store that currently is just doing like electronics recycling. I sell old video games, stuff like that. But I also own an FFL, a Federal Firearms License, and I sell guns. What's that 2011 right above the CZ with the blue grip? So that is the Fusion Firearms XP Pro. It is a 2011 design from Fusion Firearms. He used to work for Dan Wesson, and it takes Glock mags. So it's kind of like the Platypus, or the more accurately the Staccato HD for whatever, but it's $1,000 versus $3,000. Thank you for answering my question, but yes, very nice collection. Thank you. Did you make a Twitch channel yet? Sorry, yeah, I didn't respond to you, Drunk. I'm dealing with a lot of freaking drama behind the scene right now, but yes, that is, the Jimmini Show is my Twitch channel, and I need to start uploading. Do you have a Glock 19? Yes. Look at the price of those things now, crazy expensive. COVID did a number on all collectibles, man. Also, they're all breaking now, so if you have a functioning one, the value is going up. I'm new here. Do you think it's a good idea to conceal carry my TTI kind of combat? Sure, why not? If you're capable of actually concealing it, go for it. It's a good gun. Do I have any Glock FRTs? Nope, I'm not a big FRT fan. Gun safes are not going to stop somebody from stealing your guns unless they're bolted down. That is true. But many people think, so I have gun lockers and gun safes. So a gun locker you can easily pick up with one person. Gun safes, people think, oh, it weighs 350, 400 pounds. That's going to stop somebody. It's not going to. Now, my safes are not bolted down, but they are in a secured room. So you're going to have to get through a solid teak door that has 3-inch carriage bolts in it. For every hinge has 3-inch bolts in it, as well as the hinges, the lock mechanisms. So you're not just breaking into that. And then you're going to have to get my safes out. So I have Winchester brand safes. They weigh between, depending on the size, they weigh between 310 and 450 pounds. And then they have 40 to 50 guns in each one. So you're talking about another 200 to 300 pounds plus ammo and accessories. So each safe weighs in the neighborhood of 8 to 1,000 pounds. So you're going to have to work to steal my shit. By the time you do that, the police will have been alerted, and hopefully they'll respond because there's a cop shop less than a mile away. Why does the HD line have flush barrel and guide rod, but the SC has a goofy gap and crooked cap? Staccato reasons. Tomoko, thank you. Tacomo. Do I have a 10 mil? I got a couple. Only 2011 I got at the moment is the Apollo 11, but I just heard they're going belly up. Honestly, you would be wise to get rid of it. I traded an Apollo 11 for the Canon TTI. I didn't like it. The grip safety, for some reason, they went with like a duty style one that was smaller. So one-handed, I cannot, and I got big hands. I'm like 4'9". I could not fire an Apollo 11 one-handed. I don't really like talking about, I don't give a fuck. You don't know where the room is. And if you break into it, you deserve it. You also deserve the multitude of shells that are going to be flying at your face. What's up, Jimmini? I fixed my Staccato P and bought an XC off my buddy. Look, dude, I like you. I don't approve of your buying guns. No, I'm just kidding. Since you bought it off a buddy, I approve. You got a Glock 43X? No. You have a 50 cal? Not right now. Also, say hi before you ask questions. Blows my mind they went so cheap on the SC. Otherwise, spec-wise, it's the ideal carry for me. Passing on it now. I would. 4'9" is average. It is. In La La Land. Ocean 12 in progress. Go for it. It's going to be a very short movie. It's going to wind up looking like a Serbian film. Hey, what's up, everybody? All you people coming in, I'm trying to fuck with YouTube because they're fucking with me. Hit the like button. I don't give a shit if you give me money. I don't give a shit what you do. Just hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. If we grow the channel big enough, they've got no choice but to talk to me. Right now, they're being a bunch of silent-lipped, tight-lipped bitches, and I need them to understand they can't get away with bullying 2A channels. So I just want you to hit the like and subscribe. You don't ever have to watch any of my videos. I don't care. I just need the subscriber count up. And leave a comment if you want to add some interaction. Filed the stamp last week. Filled the stamp last week. Took 48 hours. Just an idea of how long they take right now. Oh, for Class 3? Yeah. Did you do it through Silencer Shop and get the $200 waived? I have thick hands and I also have issues activating the grip on my Apollo 11. It's a couple of reasons. And I know that's why we were talking about that, Patriot. The back edge of it, how it comes from the flats to the back, for some reason that hump is too large. And then the size of the grip safety and the way it's set into the back of it, the fact they used a 3D print to do it means they had to make it a little bit thicker, which I think is part of it. And then the beaver notch is too small, or the memory notch is too small. So yeah, when I wrapped my hand around it, I had to adjust my grip and pull my hand around more, and I didn't like it. That's why I traded it for the Canik. I at least knew the Canik was going to run, and it was a new released gun that I knew I could make some money back doing the video. So, company sucks ass. I will never buy one. Agreed. So, here's the deal. They handled their situation terribly. It sucks that you don't like their company that much because they've actually done good things in other respects, unlike some companies that begin with G and are spelled like cock. Yeah, but I get it, man. If you don't like them, you don't like them. I won't talk other people. I can't talk people into stop buying Glocks. They're not going to talk me out of buying some SIGs. Just did need forms and paid the $200. Know how much the deal would take in January. Gotcha. Well, that's fine, and I'm wondering if they're going to do if as long as it doesn't get appealed and shot down, I wonder if they'll offer some kind of like tax rebate or something. No like or share button, only emojis. Double tap your screen. There's 3 dots on the screen. You got to hit that. You have an AR-15? Nope. I like and sub if you've got any of those. Nope. I guess I'll never get your like or sub. Do you ever carry a revolver? Not often. I used to carry a GP100 in the store just because I like open carrying one, but I don't like concealed carrying a revolver. What do you think about the Wilson Combat EDC? The EDC X9 is amazing. It's way too expensive. I'm not paying $3,000 for a... No. It's not worth $3,000 in my opinion. He carries a 1911. I do at that. Hey, brother, happy early holiday. Thank you, Observer. What's going on, man? You don't like Glocks at all either? Nice. I don't know. I love the 200 series SIGs, and the company is still a lot better than Glock or Staccato, but I get that. Exactly. I probably choose a few SIGs over Glocks. Yeah. What do you mean you don't approve? I'm super financially responsible, surely. Uh-huh. That's why if you had bought those on their website, you would have spent over $5,000. You would have spent over $6,000. Fuck, you got an XC. Ever owned a 220? Yes. 2022? Yes. I've owned both of those, my friend. Yes, I've had the 2022 several times. I keep getting rid of it because it's too small for me. I don't comfortably shoot that gun. I guess I could get a 3D print file and make a new grip for it. Because you can actually incorporate magwells into grip panels on those guns. That's how the X5 magwell works, and as well as the Fusion XP Pro or XF Pro up there. Those grip panels actually extend down to surround the back of the mag. Oh, fuck, that hurted. Are the guns real? Yes. Micro compacts? No, I don't like micro compacts. Can you install a Glock holster in my P51 pre-original? What do you mean pre-original? You have a prototype P51? No, they're all gel blasters. Joe lives in Australia. I thought they were banning gel blasters there too. Sorry, just making sure my dog's breathing. 220 and 10 millimeter. That's a nice one. Have you ever seen a 357 Kunin? Yes, I have. I've held one. When I started selling guns in 2019 at a gun store, Kunin was still in business. They told us that for every 10 that we sold, the salesman got a free one, and then they went out of business the next year. No, I don't sell toy guns. You should conceal carry a Mossberg Shockwave. You make that joke, but technically you can if you have a concealed carry permit. Thank you for the live stream. No problem, Stacy. I had a custom Kunin fine gun. Yeah, I'd love to get my hands on one, but they've gotten so expensive because, you know, collectors are keeping them. They're getting rarer and rarer. You know, they were like a $1,600 gun, and now they're like a $3,500 gun, upwards of $6,000, depending on like if they have the custom variants. Bought it off them already with an SRO for $3,800 and put an X300 on it. Is that fair? You had it about 2 years, I think, and shot the shit out of it. Still works amazing. Yeah, an XC, new cost for an XC is $4,400 with nothing on it. An SRO is like a $700 optic. So, yeah, you did all right. I mean, 38 is still too much, but if you were going to buy a Staccato, that's a better way to go. Because you basically paid $3,200 for it, which is still too much money, but it's still not terrible for a Staccato. Don't forget to get your 40 millimeter beanbag launcher for crowd control. I've got 37 millimeter because it's legal without a permit. As proud Americans, we should be concealed carrying nothing smaller than 30 millimeter API. I tried putting a Gal 8 in my pants, but it got in the way and competed with my cock. So, what about High Point? There's one up here. We just don't talk about Bruno. Oh, Stone, when you watch this back, its name is Bruno now. I just came up with that. He took good care. No, man, like I said, Fog, my problem is more with the company than the gun. 3,800 with an SRO is fine. I'm not going to say it's not. I'm not going to be one of those bullshitters that's going to stand and die on a mountain of I hate the company so much that $1 is too much. It's a good price for the gun because of the market and where it's at. What do you write on your background checks when they ask if you use marijuana? I don't know. What do you put on yours? I don't violate the law. I sold mine for peanuts. Wish I still had it. I miss the oldies. Yeah. When you become a U.S. citizen, you should be given a 1911. If you're caught speeding in Texas without a gun in your car, they give you one. I had a High Point carbine. I loved it. Nice. What is your take on Taurus in general? Taurus in general, my take on Tauruses in general is that they are a budget-oriented company. If you buy their products expecting a budget-oriented experience, you will not be disappointed. What I mean by that is, I do this with even my STI Grandmaster, which is a $5,000 gun, or the DWX, which is a $2,300 gun. As soon as I buy a new gun, when I get it home, A, my ADHD, but two, just my desire to check them out, I disassemble, at least field strip, every gun I buy, but I'm also checking it to see if there's burrs in the metal. My copy of the XP Pro can't rack sideways for some, because there's where they cut this inside of the slide for the slide lock has too much metal. I just haven't fully corrected the problem yet. But yeah, my gun, unless it had a mag in it, you can't rack it because when the slide lock is down, the interface is too tight. But it's something you learn. So if you go into Taurus knowing, hey, look, I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to check it because they have a quota for numbers built every day probably, and numbers shipped, things like that. So their quality control is not up to snuff. So if you do that, you can usually find problems that are obvious. And then at that point, the guns are good. I had a G3 Tactical with 3,000 rounds through it. It ran flawless. Stone, what's up, bitch? I named the gun Bruno. I guess I'm going to speed in Texas, yeah. I wish that was true. Go buy a Raging Judge. Used to have one, sold it. What's your take on Radical? They're fine for the money. If you want a good, reasonable entry-level gun, they're fine. I have two of their RF-47s, the AK variants, the ARs that take AK mags. They're not the end-all, be-all gun, but they're a great starter gun. Taurus doesn't pretend they're perfection. I've seen a lot of people recommend the CZP-10C for concealed carry. I'll probably get it for my first gun. What else would you recommend outside of obvious stuff? A Smith & Wesson Shield Plus, if you're going to go in something in the compact size. The TSOS PX9 is definitely worth the look. The Daria DY9, they're Glock 19 size guns, and they're under $300. Ruger RXMs, so those are all guns I would recommend. 26X, no, because that's a Glock store exclusive. That's not a real gun, dude. That's an aftermarket company making a limited edition. Also, it's a fucking 26. Get a 19. Stop being a pussy. When are Walter coming out with steel frame PDP with compensators? I thought they already did. I subbed. I didn't hear you read my comics. I had to go take a shower. No, I said thank you for coming along and asking good questions, brother. What was the high point you showed up there, an M81? No, that is the Yeet Cannon. Is it reasonable for me to have started out in USPCA with the 2K11, or should I start it out cheaper? No. Your expectations versus what you went into, as long as you tempered your expectations, I guarantee you that a 2K11, fuck, my 320X5 or even my DWX would outshoot a novice shooter. So it's all about your expectations going in. If you expect the gun to do all your work, then yes, you overcompensated. But going into a gun battle, a gun competition with the best possible equipment that you have is not dumb. There's no reason to start cheaper. Because also, shooting competitions, you're not destroying the gun. So it's not like you have to leave it. You don't have to give it up if you suck. So no, I would go in with the best I can afford. What are your thoughts on the RXM? I like it. I like it more now that I have it in a Sharps Brothers chassis. I'm not a fan of polymer fired striker guns, but I really like aluminum and steel frame ones. Get an RXM. No reason to buy a Glock. You are correct. I feel if I feel bad if somebody breaks into your house. Me too. My shoulder's gonna hurt from the recoil of the shotgun. Thoughts on the SIG 226 SAL Legion? I would love to get my hands on one. My next dream gun, if I can sell some of my guns that I want to sell, is going to be a X5 Classic or the X5 226 Reserve. One of those. My CZ Orange does all the work for me. It flies, too. Buy whatever you want to buy. Don't let other people dictate what you want to purchase. Oh, yeah, I agree with that. The best way, and what I tell people when they ask me for recommendations, number one, I don't make personalized recommendations to people I don't know, but what I tell you to do personally, go to a gun store. If you have a range that rents guns, that's even better. But if you don't, go to a gun store. Pick up guns that you might be interested in. See which ones fit good in your hands, which ones you can close your hands around comfortably, which ones you can feel like you can conceal without it printing too much. Then go rent those guns. That's why I said if you can find a range that rents them, that's the best way to start. Spend $100 and a day. Go to a gun range, shoot all the guns, see how well you shoot them, and then decide which gun is best for you. And then who cares? If you wind up deciding that a Taurus GX4 carry is the gun that you want to carry because you shoot it better than you do a fucking staccato bullshit blah, 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 then you got your answer. You just ordered an AK-74U? Who'd you get it from? I've actually been looking for Russian stuff. They're banned here, so it has to be a U.S. carrier. I can't wait to get my damn aluminum lower frame for my Glock 19. Let me know how that goes, man. So, is their lower frame, it's serialized then, right? It's got its own serial number, right? Because it's a Glock. Have you ever sent any of your guns to NC engravers for custom work? I was thinking about sending my PDP to get a chunk port done. I have not, but I've heard good things about them. Their turnaround is good, and I've actually spoken to the owner of NC engravers because I wanted him to cut my old DWX because that was before the optics cut one was available. I wanted him to cut it for a direct mount SRO, and they just weren't set up for it. But I do kind of want to send some of my 1911. Don't buy anything from this guy. They're all mine, goddammit. The only decent former block Kalashnikov on the market now are Polishes. If you can find them, Wasser 10s. Gotcha. Yeah, it has to go to the FFL. Yeah. Civil Arms, it's a website. Cool. Thanks, dude. I'm just wondering, dude. I've been looking for a Russian one. That's awesome. I'm going to check it out. If it's a fucking Trojan, though, me and all my friends are coming over to your house and pooping on your lawn. Wow, they're in Maine. Oh, holy shit. If they have a Maxim 9, you may have just introduced me to my new favorite people. They don't have any pictures, though. Damn it. All right, sorry. Jimmini, you were gifted a membership. I saw that, dude. I got the notification during the live. That's awesome, dude. I'll have to come over and use your emotes. Your one was only 1 ounce heavier, so perfect, nice. I was sent Smith & Wesson until I got my hands on the SIG, and it completely changed my mind. Nothing wrong with that one. Yeah, bro, for sure. Is Glock 33, 357 SIG a bad purchase? Nope. Thanks for the Taurus answer. I appreciate it. No problem. High Street. What do you think of a Caltech PLR 16 for my truck gun? Be careful. Their plastics aren't that great, and they can break. I would get a Maxim 9. Maxim, M-A-X-I-M 9. The Century Arms is also a good one. Yeah, they've come a long way, dude. I have their FRT. It's more of a spend a shit ton of money on a couple guns kind of person. Instead of spend $600 on a gun and get 20 of them. That's why I only have the Staccato XCP, 2K11, Mark IV, MK4 in both my rifles. Nothing wrong with that, dude. If I had not started, I don't know why my brain stopped in the middle of that sentence. I apologize. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was literally trying to read an upside down box. If I hadn't started a gun channel, I wouldn't have this many guns. I would probably have, okay, I'm fucking with you. I'd have this many guns. But I wouldn't, no, I can't say any of that. I get what you're saying, but I can't relate. I'm trying to sound good, you know. I'm trying to sound magnanimous. I'm trying to sound like I'm not an enthusiast for the fucking field. I fucking love guns. Can't get the Russian stuff. Nope, you got to find them here in the United States, and then they're too much money. You like Colts, old ones, yes. You're about to hit 100K subs. Holy shit, dude. YouTube is probably watching you. I just told you they unsubscribed me from you, and Hickok45 I had to come look for you manually. Yep. Barbecue, Barnes, that is what they do. They also took down 3 videos, including a live where I talked bad about them. So I am trying to stay a little bit light about calling them cunts because they're assholes. Dude, Matt, you're doing well, dude. Get there. Everybody go over to Matt, dude. I want to get him to 100K. Matt Backwood, his @ symbol. Go check that shit out. Is it true that Glocks are being restricted in the States? If so, what are your feelings on that? No, they got banned in California, so Glock recreated the entire lineup, discontinued 85% of their guns, and then within a week they were already having switches made for them. So, you know, Glock shit. If you guys don't like this video, I swear to God, I'm coming over to your house and petting your dog aggressively until he likes me better than you. You got me looking at those Fusion Firearms XPs. They're releasing a comp version that looks nice. I did want a TSAS, but now I'm not sure. Definitely a great look, especially if you want something that takes a Glock mag. I sent them an email the other day asking them for the comped one for a review because they sent me that one. The one that I fucked the whole frame up by covering it and shit. They sent me that in the XF Pro, and I love them. They're great guns. I highly recommend them, especially for the price, dude. When you compare them to the Platypus, $14.99 to start, upwards of $2,100 when their optics cut and shit. And then the Staccato HD, fucking $2,000 to start, $2,200 to start. Meh, spend half that and get a better gun. Matt, no problem, dude. You can go, yeah, exactly. And most of them were imported in that gay hunting configuration. Yeah, my $90 Mosin is now $700. I paid $250 for a numbers matching Mosin, and I felt like I got ripped off. Come by, I got 6 dogs. Oh, you'll only have 3 when I'm done with you. Luckily, I only have 3 hands. What do you think of the DY9? I've been having fun with it, Mouse. We were talking about that earlier because we were talking about company like tubers that are like sucking up the companies that give them money and shit. And I was like, oh yeah, I like it. It had, you know, it's not perfect. I prefer it over a lot of the Gen 3 stuff, but you know, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I got 900 rounds through it, something like that, 800 rounds through it, and it's been flawless. How do you feel about Kimber 1911s? I've had good luck with all my Kimbers. I've had a Warrior, Raptor 2, Royal Classic, Arctic Lightweight, Arctic Shadow, GFO, the green fiber optic back when they were the first cheap ones. I've had a couple of the Aegis Custom Elite. So I've had a bunch of them, and I'm looking at another Raptor 2 right now. I might trade my Springfield for it. They had quality control issues for like 8 years, and they used really good parts. They didn't finish them well. As somebody that works on guns, it doesn't bother me, so I like them. What's the grip like on the XP Pros? It looks odd. Is it a standard? No. So it's not Glock for sure. It's not Glock, but it's not 100% 1911 because the angle of a Glock mag is different from a 1911. But it's very comfortable. I just didn't like the texturing on it. The new comped version has a much more modern, stippling type grip. That had the golf ball grip where it had a bunch of divots in it and it was smooth. So I just wanted texture. Least favorite gun? All of them. No, I'm just kidding. Chiappa and Glock, companies I hate. Just because I respect your opinion and knowledge, what would you recommend somebody that's a noob in the gun game? You got to kind of hit the basics. You got to get a Glock, even though you don't have to keep it. But you got to get a Glock. I would definitely say looking at Smith & Wesson's M&P line is something. Canics for sure. Walthers in their PDP line, they're very reasonable. Any of the 1911s. Springfield Fusion Firearms. They make standard 1911s that are awesome too. TSOS, Rock Island, all those companies. Basically, don't go in with your eyes narrowed. Go in with an open mind and preferably leave your wallet in the car. That way, when you have to go out and get your wallet, you have to think about whether you should actually be making that purchase. My experience is every NG I've encountered, it was my fault. I purchased Kimber Custom 2 for a good deal a few months ago. I haven't gotten much rounds through it, but it's definitely good so far. Good. Awesome. How many guns do you have? I don't know. What do you think about Taurus? Same problem. You just got to make sure you check them over really well when you buy them. They have the potential to be good guns. Don't get a Glock. Get a CZ10 instead. No. Let them learn, buddy. And you're not allowed to say that because you don't own a Glock. You're not actually a gun owner. Milled slide or decent sights is all that said, I still want a 19X. If you want to keep, so like Glock serializes their slides, even the US built ones. So if you want to keep your serial numbers matching, mill your original. If you don't give a shit, buy another one. How many are on your wall? Something like 30. Are all your guns loaded? Nope. The only ones that are loaded are the ones I keep off the wall for personal protection. Favorite pistol optic? I have not found it yet, to be honest with you. I like a lot of them. I will say that I prefer an open sight, personally, mainly because I do range work for the most part. I prefer it. I don't have two pieces of glass I got to look through. Looking through an enclosed optic kind of reminds me of using like an EOTech or a hollow sight. So, you know, my eyes, I have ADD brain to the fucking max. I have high IQ mixed with ADHD mixed with the fact that I'm just fucking weird. So my eyes catch everything they see. So when I'm looking through two pieces of glass, if there's dirt on one of the lenses, I'm going to be looking at it. It's hard for me to focus past shit like that. It's really ridiculous. Our Kimber's good. They can be. Still think we should band together and bully Smith & Wesson and releasing in 2011. Dude, if you do that, we need to call it the Smith & Wesson 2011 LB for Limp Bizkiter, since it was your idea. I plan on getting a Glock 18. Does that count? Send me the money. I'll do the transfer right now. Actually, I'm kidding, YouTube. Fuck off. Not you, dog. Do you have an M1 Garand? No. I lost my sticky pocket holster. Damn it. Well, that's a good reason to move to Arizona if I ever heard one, Mouse. You got to move there so you can find it. Honest Outlaw did a video on the Glock 5. Still hilarious to me how they didn't optics cut it. They jammed a few times, probably from a limp wrist. Didn't shoot any different than a OG Glock. Oh, yeah, it's the exact same gun. I just need one, brother. You'll be fine. Thoughts on the FN Reflex? I don't really think about it. I'm not a fan of compact guns. It looks okay. They had a few, what was it, recoil springs or firing pin issues when they first came out. They're fine. Tell them all to do it for the nookie. Your eyes are so far apart. Was your father a fish? Yes, a hammerhead shark. He also had a hammerhead dick. That's why I'm around. Did your parents have any children that lived? Yeah, I don't know where it went. I love that holster and it had a cutout for the optics. Can I order a 2011 through you and pay you to do the slide and trigger work? Want to get one next year. I don't trust myself on an expensive 2011 yet. I wouldn't recommend me. I'm a get it done kind of gunsmith. Like, if anybody takes apart the guns I work on, they're going to be like, I don't know why this works as well as it does. When I rebuilt that gun, I fucked it up so bad it had a half-pound trigger in it. If it had a reset that was reliable, I would have left it with a half-pound trigger. But as it is, it has a 1.9-pound trigger. So, basically, yeah. When I start doing the Twitch streams, I'll take apart some of the guns I've modified so you can see what I've done to them. And again, you look at the guns and you'll be like, I don't get it. And then you'll shoot my guns and you're like, oh, he's a results guy. And then you're going to think about it twice and go, holy shit, I'm never paying this guy to do my work. So I only do like stock stuff for people through my company YouTube. So I do sites installs. I'll replace your springs and stuff like that. But if I have to file anything, I don't like being responsible for that. I respect how honest you are. Yeah. I appreciate that. What's the least expensive gun you own, not including accessories? I've been paid to take guns, so in terms of money I've been paid money to take guns because I've bought large collections and sold one gun out of the collection that's paid for the collection, so it's not a question I can answer truthfully. Yeah, when I was a mechanic for 15 years. I was a mechanic, and it didn't matter how good I did or how confident I was with it. Every time I started a car after I rebuilt that engine, the first thought in my head was, oh, great, it's going to fucking explode. And I think that, yes, I do make jokes, and I am a little narcissistic when it comes to some stuff, especially when I know I'm right, which I usually am. But when it comes down to it, I'm also somebody that understands I'm extremely capable of fucking your shit up. Joe uses sex lube when he files parts. It must work. Yeah. Yeah, I do. It works well. So silicone sex lube is not good for use with toys, but it's excellent for lube when you're sanding shit. I don't know if he loved it or not. Kind of just shot the same regardless. He shot it good. It's his newest vid posted a few hours ago. What? Who did? Who did what now? What? Oh, Honest? Honest Outlaw made a video saying that the previous Glocks were all on the decline and they weren't worth the money. So the fact that he got a Glock V, if he doesn't say the same shit about it, he's a shill. I'm just kidding. Chris, I'm not calling you a shill. You're probably one of the few I actually still click on. My friend is 3D printing the Kung Fu grip and hand stop. I'm getting the set off him tomorrow for $25. Do you think that's good? For anything that's 3D printed that doesn't snap immediately, yeah. What's up, dog? Got a quick question. What's better, an AK or a Mini 14? If you're talking about an old Mini 14, they have about the same accuracy, but I would go AK just because of, honestly, the bigger round. Now, a Mini 30 or an AK, I'd probably go with the Mini 30. How did you find out that X Lube is good for sanding and filing? I couldn't find anything to use, and I had a couple of extra bottles. Don't ask me why. And I was like, fuck it, it's a lubricant. I might as well try it. And I was using it with a Corsair 180 grit sandpaper, and it worked perfect. 2 penny sights that are left dovetail protectors. Huh? If I was Smith & Wesson, every time Glock releases their new versions, I would find a way to make a switch for it. I would. They're probably the ones that funded the other one. But you can get it in 7.62x39. Yes, sir. That's called the Mini 30. That's why I said if you compare it, a Mini 30 to an AK, I'm taking a Mini 30. Hang on a second, please. Stay there, buddy. I'm just getting aspirin. Bro, I'm just getting aspirin. Just getting aspirin, buddy. You're good. tired, pal? We're going to bed soon. That's right, I speak to my dog like he's a human because he's a better person than most of you. Time to open my weekly rations. I told you many times, brother, no. It's not perfect, but compared to Herrera, Grantham, and the Civ Tactical 80 who made the YouTube gun scene ass outlaw solid, Paul Harrell used to be the best. So there was a guy that I used to watch religiously. You can still find his stuff on here. His name was Patrick E. Kelly. And he's actually one of the first guys I ever watched video of. He used to do a series called From the Box to the Match, where he would literally buy a gun, he would lube it, and he would take it to the range and he would shoot it in a actual steel match cold. And that's how he would test guns. My dog listens to everything, including, I like Limp Bizkit. Thank you, you're welcome. Use one gun to shoot the other guns and see which is the strongest gun. I've done that. I used a 30-30 to shoot a Chiappa. The Chiappa lost. What do you think of the Mossberg & Sons Model 152? I don't know. Hold on a second. Sounds like an interesting way. His stuff is still online. The problem is, and it sucks balls, his wife died of cancer, and he let the channel die. Because his wife was his camera person, and an integral part of his channel. So it's a very understandable reason why the channel died. It's why Rick Moranis stopped acting. Not Patrick Kelly's wife's dying, but Rick Moranis' wife died, so he stopped to raise his kids. I had a Korean barbecue, and it reminded me of you. Dude, I love Korean barbecue. Thank you for telling me. Now I want Korean barbecue. I will expect some in the mail. Squish it into an envelope, wrap it in cellophane, and send it. I was looking into Arizona gun laws, and it looks amazing. Nice, dude. I've never tried the fingers. I've never tried any of the upgraded TX22s outside of a competition. That's unfortunate. Yeah. You wouldn't have taken that Night Stalker. If I wouldn't have taken that Night Stalker, you would have blown up. If you have been blown up. If I wouldn't have taken that Night Stalker, if you have been blown up. I'll send you. Wait, what? No, Stonehaven, don't you fucking dare. If you want to send me anything, you send me Tillamook fucking beef jerky. I want Tillamook teriyaki beef jerky. Tillamook teriyaki beef jerky. It's on Amazon. It's on some buckwheat noodles with lots of bakchan. Aw, thank you. Also, if you get a map tube from Staples, you can fill it with kimbops. They're already round. Just shove them in there. He's going to send more fish. Yeah, if I wouldn't have bought the Night Stalker off you, you would have shot it. I was very tempted to. 100% very tempted to. But then I realized how much I like 2011s. Good deals on the Beretta 92X right now. Yeah, they're discontinuing some of the submodels, so they put a lot of them on sale. Dude, if I was a million sub YouTube channel, I would be blowing up guns every week that I don't like. I would buy a Glock a week just to destroy it. You know how like some of them do the high points? I would literally buy a Glock a week to destroy it. In fact, that is the only thing I will ask any of you for money for. If you guys pay for a Glock a week, I will literally destroy it in a different way every single week. I will run it over with my truck until it stops working. I will bury it in concrete under the foundation of the new buildings being built. I will melt it using an acetylene torch. I will use hydrochloric acid to melt the frames. I will do, actually I don't know if they'll melt because of plastic, but I will destroy a Glock a week if you people pay for it. No, I filmed a video of me shooting the Kappa, and then I lost the footage. Was the gun not supposed to be shot? Are you asking about the T-Sauce? No, Jared over at SDS reached out to me a long time ago about it. So one of my best videos on the channel is T-Sauce Night Stalker, lies and cover-ups or some shit like that. It's got like 200,000 views. So I bought that Night Stalker as soon as it was announced because it's a fucking good looking gun. That was the reason I bought it. And my buddy's gun store had an event called Faith and Freedom, and we needed a 2011 that we could suppress. I already had my suppressor, and I had the 2011, so I offered up my suppressor, my 2011 for the event. Unsuppressed, that gun shot flawlessly. The minute we put a suppressor on it, after about 40 or 50 rounds, it stopped running. I noticed that the tolerances were too tight and everything was like gunking up inside the gun. So I took it apart and I found flaws in the metal. So I made a video about it. And after making that video, I was reached out to by T-Sauce, who asked for the gun back. I refused to send them. I'd already sold it to Stonehaven by that time. But I refused to send them the gun back because I knew they were never going to send it back to me. They would have said there was something that was dangerously wrong with it just to try to keep it. Well, it turns out that the frame is not forged like they claimed. It's actually cut from billet. Mine is, because mine is one of the first 1,000 built. And nothing against the company. If I hadn't done what I did, nobody would have ever known that gun had an issue. I would have liked to seen that video. I'll find the gun and put it up behind me someday. Message got blocked, so you might not have seen it, but it was funny. Yeah, I don't see them when they get blocked, the Gav. I love Soju. Oh, Soju's awesome. Hun, aren't you like 12? What are your thoughts on IWI Masada? I like it. I don't like the slim. I like the regular one, though. I used to like the guy who wore a Robin Hood hunting hat that did gun reviews and helpful hints on shooting, but he passed away from cancer. Robin Hood hunting hat? Haley Smokes, I haven't seen you. I think it's probably, you're 30. Oh. Zang. Do you hunt? No, nobody's ever taken me. No, what happens is, Paymon, is if you don't watch or interact for a certain amount of time, YouTube is just blanket removing subscriptions from 2A. But if it was something dangerously wrong with it, how did it pass QC and end up in your hands in the first place? Yeah, so like I said, I'm not trying to throw shade at the company because they did at least admit their fault. But yeah, so when they released the gun, they didn't have the forgings completed yet. Like, they didn't have them dialed in. So the first 1,000 guns that they sent out were all cut from billet. And the billet had flaws in it. So shit happens, but it took a year and a half to finally get that answered. So it took me going to the NRA show in Atlanta to find that out. Do you like Sig Sauer? Sig Sauer. I don't know why I call it Sawyer. Yes, I do. I temper my appreciation for Sig with what they did in handling the 320 situation. So they handled the Sig situation terribly, but I do like their guns. What's the best optic? That's a very personalized choice, man, and I try all different kinds. If you're never ever in Kansas, we can fix that hunting issue. I've been offered in Wyoming and Kansas now, so who never knows, man. Whoever knows, I might wind up there one day. But they tried to steal our gun. I wouldn't say they tried to steal it. I think it was when I told them that I wanted that gun back and I wouldn't accept a replacement. I think they just realized that there was no reason to try to swap the gun because I wouldn't let that go. I wonder if my KUSA AK-103 is really forged. I have yet to see another T-Sauce product that isn't forged that has a forged tag on it. The Night Stalker was like kind of their first venture into a quality 2011, so it makes sense that they had to rush them to market. So I don't fault them. And again, 90% of them were probably fine. I just happened to be the one to get the one that had the problems. It has to happen to somebody. It's unfortunate that it happened to a gun tuber. What do I think of the Desert Eagle? I've had one. They're very expensive, though. My older brother likes SIG too, but he has a 357 right now. Well, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, like you said, they need to handle their situations better. Like, when I'm really wrong, I own up to it. I take my licks, you know. I also don't hide my life for 90% of it. There are things I don't talk about on live streams that we don't need to discuss because they're private. But in terms of my public known information, I don't hide that shit. I have too many people that can fact check me. My parents watch the live stream. My brother has seen the live stream, and I'm sure he would chime in. My buddy Sam He's Sam Stocker on here. Gun Gopher sometimes. He fax checks me. Drunk Mouse has met me in real life. Stonehaven I've hung out with so many times. Yeah. I honestly think half the point of the Desert Eagle so you can say I own a Desert Eagle. Kind of was, honestly, stop motion. It was fun while I had it. The biggest problem with a Desert Eagle 50 caliber is having friends, because your friends want to shoot the gun and your friends all of a sudden forget how to pay for ammo. When was the last red dot you had give you issues? The last red issues was an ADE optic that I had laying around that I just threw onto a pistol. ADE is a very budget red dot, and it would not hold 0. You would look good in a Han Solo outfit. I don't know if I would agree with you, young lady. I'd only get a Desert Eagle if it's a White Tiger version. You can get those. They're only like $1,900. Hey, I offer to pay for ammo. Yeah, but I didn't know you when I had the Desert Eagle. Can't complain, though. That's how I ended up with the CZ Orange. Yeah, dude, I think I got screwed twice on that orange. Which blue? Oh, the stainless? I still got the blued one. You had a Star Wars gun at one point. So my buddy Alex, the guy that helped me do the DWX, he took a Ruger Mark IV and turned it into a Mandalorian blaster, because they sell kits for that gun. It takes all the upgrades and it looks just like a Star Wars blaster. Thoughts on 357 SIG? You handled it at all recently? How does the bottleneck case perform to all the straight weld stuff? The last 357 SIG I had was actually CWL owns it now. He's one of the guys that's in here all the time. He bought my 229 and 350, or was it 228, 227, 226? It was 229. Outside of that, the only one I have left is a Glock 32, and as long as you don't limp wrist it, that gun runs flawlessly. True, the blued is probably nicer. I like blued finishes too. Well, so I got a really good trade for that gun, Drunk. I got the exact same model with the box and another gun. No, if lightsabers were real, what color would you want? I'd get purple. Purple is cool. I would like a blue one. Outside of black, my other favorite color is blue. I would want rainbow, but the problem is it would be too distracting. How do you think PSA's 2011 is going to be? I hope it's good. I need to reach out to them about getting a sample. What are your thoughts on the gun YouTuber scene right now? We are all in danger from YouTube and its blatant disregard for TOS and the fact that they can continuously use fraudulent claims to take down our videos. That's what they've done to me. They took down 3 in the last week with false claims. Red. The hero uses red. Lol. Would I be a Jedi or a Sith? I'd probably be kind of like a in-the-middle guy. I don't fully believe in the Force, but I don't fully want to be a bad guy. I would be an anarchist Jedi. Like, I would just be a me. I'd be like, I'd be a Han Solo Jedi. Does that make sense? I modified my printer. Yeah, go ahead. Or if possible, I want a golden lightsaber. That'd be cool. He brought balance to the Force. Something, something, dark side. Something, something complete. You have a Sith cloak? That's cool. My live's been super slow, but I need to post way more content. The problem is, it's also YouTube, man. I get lucky that I've been established as long as I have. That's the only reason I got as far as I would. Here's going to be something that makes you all hate me, and I'm sorry for saying it out loud. I prefer Star Trek. Star Wars is the 9-part story about how one family ruined a universe. Hey, well, Mr. Blue Jar Jar Binks, not out to go. Mr. Blue Jedi.
Or today, hopefully man is not getting in my way.
Star Trek, oh hell no, I'm gone. Look, may the force be with you. I love Star Trek. DS9 is goated. Ah, yes, the only Star Trek was something that didn't move. But yeah, DS9 was pretty awesome though. Mrs. Mouse got me the cloak on my birthday last year. It's really durable. Nice. I love R2D2. Can you do an R2D2? I think it's gonna break my throat. I can't get up high enough. That was actually a Jar Jar Binks. My dog just looked at me like I'm a psycho. Are you okay, buddy? I prefer Dragon Ball across your face. I can do the flux capacitor. Actually, I can't. My voice is going out. Damn, dude. That's crazy. You only considered the Clone Wars show on episode 1 to 6 are over. And everything after that is a spin-off. Take care, man. Gotta go work early. Yep. Can you do any cars? No, I'm not good at audio vocal sounds like that. But yeah, I also... Have you guys been watching the shit with Pirate Software lately? I think Bleach is better than Dragon Balls or Naruto. Oh, fuck that. I thought we were going to be friends. You can keep your Korean food. Although, I will agree that Naruto has a really bad pacing problem. No, there was a content creator. His name is Pirate Software. Have you ever seen him? He has a really deep voice, and he always talks about how he worked at Blizzard for 20 years. No, he's still on the internet. He still has 2 million subscribers. But him and Markiplier both have extreme vocal training. And I always thought it was funny. Because that's something everybody makes fun of on the internet. They accuse him of having a voice changer, but he just has vocal training. Never got into Naruto. Where's a good place to start with anime? I don't know. I really don't watch much. I just watch Naruto because I played the video game first. Do Larry Potter Fields, thanks for your business. I don't know who Larry Potter is. But anyways, so if you watch very early Markiplier stuff, his voice isn't as deep as it is. And hey, everybody, Markiplier here. And today, oh my God, I'm going to die. Am I going to die? I'm going to die. That is literally vocal training. That's what Pirate Software uses. He literally has to concentrate on that. So if I wanted to, I could do an entire live speaking like this. My voice would be at a completely different timbre than normal. That's why my voice changes throughout the course of a live. And when I talk a lot, because I did like 6 hours of streaming yesterday, my voice gets gravelly as fuck. Can't get into anime because like 80% of the shit is manga. Probably count the animes I like on one hand. None of the ones mentioned are on the list. Load or whatever people are born into becomes a weeb. I was born without it. Fuck yeah, dude. I watched GoBots. Transformers! Anime is also, if you read it, it's called manga. If you watch it, it's anime. You do good voices.
Thank you.
So I'm a little bit, I mimic people from all my years selling cars, which is why I can do some accents better than other. And it's really fucking me up right now because the dog park I take Rocky to has an Irish immigrant that comes there. And it's so hard not to start speaking with an Irish brogue with him. I don't remember what Gumby sounds like. Oh, I don't do Japanese very well. I don't practice dialect enough. It's a wee little Irish mouse But no, he has a dog that he named Gordon Ramsay, which is funny because he's an Irishman yelling at a Brit. I wish I had one for every day of the year. Oh, I meant the hentai stuff. Uh-oh. Oh. Daniel-san, you go outside. You do the work. I don't want to. We are going to get back at the Americans. We are going to tell them raw fish is sushi. $7 for raw fish. That's what they get from Nagasaki. In Hiroshima. My dog thinks I'm racist. Fuck you, I'm Asian, buddy. You're a dog. You're canine. If I started walking around going woof, 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 then you could say I'm being racist. You okay, buddy? Oh, it got realer. First carry gun was in 1911. Yes, I agree. Sometimes I do it it comes off a little bit really fake. You sometimes have to roll some of the letters. I do more of a FPS Russia. If you watch him, it's kind of more Slavic than it is Russian. You listen to him. I have a kind of inflection in that voice. I go up, I go down. I like my vodka in a glass or in the bottle. It does not matter. Sukabliet. Oh no, remember, heels to ground when you are squatting, otherwise you fall over like a total pizdiek. Hey buddy, how you doing? You tired? Rocky knows time, by the way. All animals have an internal clock. He did send me Sir Strumman. He's an asshole. Although he did make me $400. What make and model do you carry? Right now I carry a Para Ordnance 1911 and 45 ACPA. I don't know how to pronounce things, so I call it an ACPA. I also call grenades boom balls. He really did? Yes, I kept it in my fridge for a year, and it went good, and then it went bad again. FBS got fooked? Yeah, he did. But that's the risk you take, man. Tavarish walk outside with Kalashnikov. Oh, yes, I walk outside with Kalashnikov in Siberia, drinking beer and singing USSR anthem for Great Union. I love Putin, my dick in your face. He never eats the food I send. Send me good shit. Was it at least good? No, I did a live stream. You can look it up. Untitled Goose paid me, and a bunch of people paid me, and I did the live over at the garbage can, opening it in water, and I still almost puked. Roman, what's up, cousin? What are we going to do? Are we going to the bowling alley? Okay, Kate. I'll take a 12 or a 74 over a 12. So funny in FPS shit accent loud. Sounds like Balkan rather than Rusky. Yeah, he definitely sounds Blocky, not Rusky. Got your strumming smell. It smells like ammonia. Yeah, and here's the thing, man. I had it in my fridge. Like, he sent it to me in the middle of fucking summer. So it expanded because it sat outside my house for 3 days. I put it in the fridge for like 9 months and it shrank. And then it started to expand again. So it went bad, worse, went good, then it went bad again. No, he likes catfish. I think Sir Strumman, he would abandon me. It would be like looking for a friend for the end of the world with Steve Carell and his wife when he stops and his wife gets out of the car and runs away. That's all I would see. I would take Rocky to the park one day. He would jump the 6-foot fence and leave. What are my thoughts on the SIG 211? I've held one. I haven't bought one yet. I offered a buddy of mine to buy his, and he told me to fuck off, basically. So at some point, I will get one. If you guys want to donate $1,000 each, I only need 3 of you to do it, and I can buy one. How's Goose doing? He's still working a bunch? P.S. Goose, come back. Yeah, he's always working his ass off. What about the durian fruit? I've had durian. I'm not a fan of that either. The texture is nasty. Painkiller? Yeah, Woody and Kyle and the other guy. They're pretty good. Have I been to Europe? Only as a child. My father was stationed in Germany. He was stationed in Baumholder. I was living off base in a place called Neubrücke. Oh yeah, by the way, it's public knowledge. My last name is Pecoraro. I grew up in a city called Schenectady as a child. Then my mother lived in a city called Pflugerville in Texas, and I lived in a city called Neubrücke. I was never going to win a spelling bee. I sent him eggs too, but no, he didn't eat that till he came and hung out. You bastard. I made you eat it and you puked up all you. I just hit my dog. Apologize to Rocky. Thoughts on civilian tactical? You know about Pflugerville. Pecoraro. Pecorino is the cheese. Thoughts on civilian tactical? Not my bag, man. The fact that he still tags all his video with Demo Ranch to get fucking SEOs. Now, I am at some point going to have to go fully to the dark side when it comes to growing the channel. I may have to start doing clickbaity shit, and I detest that day. That's why I ask you guys to subscribe and come along willingly before I trick you fuckers. Do you like to cook? Yes, but I hate the prep and the cleanup. I couldn't do it, I'm weak, yep. It's not shark meat, it's some kind of white fish, but yes, it's fermented. So it's good for up to 6 years, they say. But I managed to get the one can that went bad. Yeah, start the clickbait. So I might hire a search engine optimization specialist and a thumbnail artist and all that shit. Do the 8-minute 1-second videos. Yeah, no kidding, right? Civ Tactical is the idiot that ruined gun content, turned the gun side of the platform from the informative to the money content like Kentucky with this 4-bore crap. So I'm not a fan of him. I'll just put it that way. He is somebody that came to this platform solely for the purpose of making money off this platform. He did not get into the 2A community to help anybody. He is not helping anybody with this content. He is simply here to make money for himself. Yeah, I know, drunk, but, you know, it's kind of hard to maintain my moral standard, which, by the way, isn't very high, bouncy, bouncy, titty tit, but I have lines that I really don't want to cross. That's why I'm trying to get advertisers and people that can be indirectly funding the channel so that I don't have to be that guy. How do you like your sour candy? Oh, it looks great up on the wall, dude. But I like regular sour stuff, but if you send me super sour stuff, I can't do that, man. My fucking anxiety and blood pressure, it will cause me to have an episode. You're actively trying to kill me. I hate when they use clickbait thumbnails. Me too, Patriot. Does the guy you're talking about come in here? Civilian Tactical? No, he's never been in here. He doesn't care about the community. So he doesn't watch other people. He literally makes his content, and that's it. Having your morals is better than anything. That's what I try to do, stop motion. And high points are also terrible. Except for they're not pretentious. They're not great, but they don't say they are. That's hot candy. Yep, you are right. Why are there so many guns? Because many guns is awesome. Well, let me tell you something, fella. Here in America, I'm allowed to have as many of those ballistic tools as I can afford. And as you can see behind me, I'm an oil baron. I'm also bankrupt. These are all fake, bankruptcy court. It's a green screen. Look, there's nothing there. Seen just about most channels and chats except him. Yep. You made a spelling mistake. It's all right. Agreed on the Tech 9s and the Dracos. Thoughts on AREX Zero? I like the Zero. I've got the Alpha right there. That's the AREX Alpha, the competition style gun. In fact, we're getting to the point where we might be getting close to the end here. Rocky's asleep, so it's cool. Is there a squeak in the stream, or is that coming from my house? That's my chair. Paul Harrell was one of the few on the platform that actually cared about the topic and community and wasn't out to just solely make money. Kentucky Grand Thumb, Civ Tactical, and Herrera ruined that. So I'm trying not to denigrate others as much, okay? Here's where I come down on that side of people on YouTube. I got lucky. I did a stupid fucking video that took off and got me my sub base. Kentucky Ballistics, Brandon Herrera, Grand Thumb, Civ Tactical, Johnny Q. What the fucking happened to him anyways? But all these people, right? They are edutainment. They're more entertainment than they are education. Like if you watch old Demolition Ranch stuff, he was actually testing shit. Nowadays he did stupid shit before he quit YouTube. Brandon Herrera, all these guys, they are entertainers. They are on YouTube as two-way community entertainers. I can tell you the moment Brandon Herrera stopped being what he was and what he is. The instant he got popular with his meme reviews, that was it. He found out that it was a lot easier to make content on YouTube when you're funny or you're reacting or you're doing this. So that's what he does. Again, not denigrating him. He's a very smart businessman who is doing this for that sole purpose. When I started doing YouTube, even you go back to my video game hunting, my car reviews, my early gun reviews, I never got into this for the money. I was always like, oh, well, if I can get monetized, that'll be cool. If I make a couple of $100 a month, it could pay for fuel and shit like that. Even now, with nearly 200,000 subscribers, we went over 188 tonight during the live stream, by the way. But even with almost 200,000 subscribers, I make $1,000 a month off of YouTube. I can make more than that fucking in a day on OnlyFans. What about Yee Life and Hickok? Hickok is education. Hickok is education, but he is also a company. Yee Life is Demo Ranch. Yee Life is what Demo Ranch was before he got super big. And Yee is a big channel too, so he will eventually just be entertainment. And that's what he is. He's entertainment. He fucking named his channel Yee Life. Come on. Hickok's solid. He knows a lot and cares, but is also out to make some dough. It's not bad and does, at least gives a shit. And again, not denigrating him, but he was part of the problem when they re-released the new rules and shit, and he took down an entire month of his videos. And then he made a video saying that any promotion or anything like that could get your channel instantly deleted because he spoke to somebody. He passed some bad information. So as a content creator on the platform making money, he was concerned with his ability to make money, which is kind of fucking. I didn't go live last night because I was worried about them killing my channel. That's why I didn't stream that. That's why I streamed video games. The squeak is a couch. No, it's this right here. Hold on. So this is an IKEA desk, but I'm also a fat fuck. Tyrant, what's up? You're listening to me make my desk squeak, and not in a good way. Also, Glock tattoo, that is fucked up. We're only 6 months left before you guys got to re-up on me keeping that and refixing it. 1,500, I'll keep it for another year. Thoughts on PSR? He is in a space that I am not. He started, administrative results, and a few other guys. I think I just might have ended the live stream. Hold on. Okay, I didn't. But him, administrative results, and a few other content creators where they hide their face. I don't get that, but whatever. I am one butt fucking ugly dude, and I don't hide my face, so I don't get why others do it. Did you stream last night? No, I did 2 live streams with video games, though. I did over 5 hours. So I streamed earlier in the day, and then I streamed at 1:30 in the morning this morning. What about Misha's guns? I don't know who Misha is. Is that girl? My issue with Herrera is that he seems like he cares but doesn't. His FRT video example, he just didn't care. FRTs are fun, but he didn't make it seem legal or good about the topic. It's because he has the standing in the YouTube space to not get fucked with as much. I was at work and probably sleep. No problem. 1:30 is dedication. So here's what I'm going to be doing, stop motion. I started a gun store. The economy is so fucked right now that it's not really profitable right now for me. So I stepped back. I went to by appointment only, and I'm going to be doing primarily only online shit with my gun store. So what I'm going to be doing is these are daily live streams. My 2-3 hour live streams where I talk to you guys, that's daily. That's going to stay. But also, I'm going to start streaming on Twitch, VR gaming, as well as here once a day. So you're going to have multiple shit every goddamn day. My TX22 should be here Friday, and my FRT came in today. Nice, dude. I can't wait to shoot it. I think admin wore a mask because he was a cop. There was some issue for his department. Oh, no, I don't fault them for doing it. I just don't understand it. But if you're protecting your identity for a reason, I guess that makes sense. It's really cool, too. Y'all should catch it. So when I'm playing the VR games, I'm just kind of running around, but we have conversations and talks and shit. Got it. So once he was done, I hide because my teeth are jacked up because I was a drug addict. Like you said, dude, look at me, man. I got the double chin because I used to be almost 400 pounds. I got the lazy fucking eye. Don't be ashamed of who you are, brother. I mean, a lot of guys just don't put themselves on camera. That's another way to do it. Economy is really messed up right now, Joe. I see it from the inside being in finance. Yeah, I know, dude. That's why I literally pulled all my stuff out of the store for right now. I have 12 guns up for sale, and I'm going to sell those probably on fucking Gunbroker. What about Mishiko? Watching a blind guy mag dump into the treetops outside of his cabin will never get old. Is he blind? No, I'm starting to hold as much cash as I can, too. What's up, Corvanus? What you're doing at the store right now is very smart. Also, here's a fucky thing. So my buddies over at Bears, they were the pawn shop in town. They got bought out by a bank. So they no longer allow you to transfer a gun into their store. Like, you can't order online and have it sent there. So they're sending me all their business. So I'm going to get all their transfers, which is easy cash because I don't have to pay for any guns or anything. And then I'll just do the transfers. So that'll be cool. Yep. Well, in the city of Winchester, there are literally only 2 pawn licenses. There's only 2 pawn shops in the city of Winchester, Virginia. And they basically bought one of them. Eli, how you doing today? We're only going till 11 tonight, so make sure you like and subscribe and all that good shiz. I held a Springfield Echelon pistol for the first time yesterday. Nice pistol. California can F off in their Glock prices. That's what I say, Blue Sky. What about Nico Ortiz? I don't know who Nico Ortiz is. I'll check out some of them. I'm sure I've seen them. I don't watch very many gun tubers. So if I'm looking at a gun that I'm not familiar with, like when I need to do a video and I want to get a couple of other perspectives on it, I will search the gun and I'll just watch videos. I don't actually follow. Like, I'm subscribed to a few guys because it's just a good thing to do. Like, a few of my followers I'm subscribed to. But I don't really care. I don't watch much YouTube at all. Please keep your eyes open. I will. What's been your craziest transfer or purchase you've seen? So as a private store owner, I've not done anything weird. At the stores I've worked at, I had a guy come in and want to sell a Barrett 50 cal, and then I made one phone call and sold a 50 cal. The Echelon is one of my favorites. Man, Winchester is a gun brand, isn't it? That's a cool place to live. Winchester in Virginia is not where Winchester is from. It just happens to be named Winchester. Also, what's also kind of funny is I live in Winchester, I like Winchester, and my grandfather worked for Winchester for decades. How much do you charge for a transfer? Stores around me charge like 50. So my normal price is 30 bucks. I shot an Echelon and felt amazing in my hand, but I couldn't hit any steel with it at 15 yards, neither could the owner. That might be a problem with the sights. What's the best 22 suppressor host? Ruger Mark IV, simply put. It's direct mount, bolt activated, so it has a bolt action, so the barrel doesn't move, the shroud doesn't move. By far the best 22 host. I just wish it had capacity. What's been the oldest gun you ever transferred or taken into the store? I mean, we had a blunderbuss from the 1800s, but that doesn't count. Had some like 1890s revolvers. Right, I bet it was the sights. Unfortunately, yeah. They have so many different sight options, they might have paired them wrong. Do you play airsoft? No, but I have some airsoft. I have both airsoft and BB guns. They are two different air pistols. So air guns and airsoft are two different categories. Airsoft is 6mm or larger plastic BBs, and air guns are pellet or BB. Funny because my Mark IV has an issue with cycling, but it also has a 3-inch barrel, so there may not be enough dwell time. I also have to run hot ammo through it, but it's still subsonic. Interesting. Maybe go to a lighter spring too. I remember you. Was it from that alley the other night? Dude, I'm sorry, I was drunk. Joe had the elusive hammer fire Glock. Yeah, I did. I think hiding your identity also helps with keeping people interested in the channel. I don't know if that's really as true as it used to be. It was interesting back in the day. So like Muzzle Broke, he's a cool dude. I talk to him on chat whenever I see him on. I think it actually hinders a lot of channels, unless you're doing something like PSR where he's doing weird shit. But like Muzzle Broke, he's growing, but not at the rate I think he could be if he just takes the mask off. Same thing with administrative results. You see how much more his channel grew when he took the mask off? Oh, I've gone with the lightest springs. But the hammer strut spring is still heavy. Oh. Shave it. Make it an auto. Fuck it. Blessings from the Flying Spaghetti Monster. Hello, Flying Spaghetti Monster. I love your meatballs. I think I messed up the ejector thing on my Mark IV. The thing inside the tube is wobbly. Do you know if it can be fixed? I think it just needs to be replaced, but, you know, it's a blowback gun. It technically doesn't even need an ejector. The part that is fixing the bolt slides through it. I think it kicks out spent casing. Yep. Yo, dude, Gage, what's up, son? Yo, you don't drink. Well, that's why. I wind up in an alley. Think how much Master Chief's following would grow if he took off the mask. Pretty much. Although, look what happened to the Halo series when he took off the mask. So it's like, if you get... PSR can't take off the mask. He's too big with the mask, I guess. How does a striker fired system work? I've been exposed to hammer fired system before, so I understand those, but striker makes no sense. Basically, it's the opposite. So a hammer fired... The hammer comes forward, smacks a firing pin, it slams forward, hits the cartridge. The spring that's around the firing pin is used to pull back the firing pin. A striker-fired gun, when you rack it back, the striker is interacting with the fire control group inside of it, so it pulls back, locks it into position. For example, the modified double action of a Glock pre-cock strikers. It cocks a striker most of the way back. When you pull the trigger, it finishes the pull. The spring around the firing pin pulls the firing pin forward to fire the gun. That's why striker fire guns are much more likely to have light strikes than a hammer fire gun. So it's basically the opposite. So the whole tube and barrel needs to be replaced, I think. No, I think that part can be replaced. I think it's held in with a roll pin, but you'd have to fully disassemble it, and I haven't done one in a while. I stay off the camera so they can't say I'm touching stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Admit was also on Demo Ranch, Brandon Herrera and Kentucky Ballistics after he took his mask off. Well, yeah, because he moved into that space. So Demo Ranch made the careers, and you can't say I'm fucking lying. Demo Ranch enhanced the shit out of Brandon Herrera. Even Garantham didn't have 1 million subs until after he went on Demo Ranch. Kentucky Ballistics, those three, and Donut Operator all appeared on Demo Ranch and skyrocketed. So the fact of the matter is, yeah, he did take off because he was on Demo Ranch, but he also knew what he was doing. I'll look into that. Maybe I just need a new roll pin. Yeah. 8,000 rounds is a lot, man. And again, I don't care if you wear a mask. Just know that I'm going to give you grief just because it's funny. The last time I went into a bank with a mask on, I left with more money than I should have. Ask me how. Click here to find out how. Oh, look it up on YouTube. Look up the skit Drive-Through Robbery. It's hilarious. Sure, you have 10 mags and a speed loaner. It was fun at the range. Sounds like fun, dude. So as we're winding down here, ask any final questions. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button. As you notice, if you've been watching this whole video, I have not actually asked you for anything other than likes and subscriptions. That's how I grow this channel, and that's how I show YouTube they can suck my bing bong. Let's just fuck with the algorithm. Just get in here. Just watch, like, subscribe. I offer memberships at $2. You're basically helping the channel. If we get to 100 members, I'll start doing giveaways again. I'll do lights, lasers, bazookas, small children with tactical bananas. I don't care. If it fits in a box, I'll ship it to you. Just kidding. YouTube, it's a fucking joke. But yeah, we may do stuff down the road. But if you want to help, just hit the like button. That's all you got to do. Final question. What's your favorite dinosaur? Oh, my favorite dinosaur? Hold on a second. I'm going to show you something that's going to make you laugh. It's what I had for dinner. Yeah, I don't get it, but hey, if it works for you, go for it. Yeah. You can use a Wilson lube on your printer? I bet you it works. Dude, I couldn't help it. I had to have me some dino nuggies tonight. Chickens are so are technically alligators. Yummy dino nuggies. I'm a Minosaur. I am, honestly, I really like just Tyrannosaurus Rex. He was one of my favorite dinosaurs. Yes, I know they're not dinosaurs. Found out they are from right here in Kansas. You can find mosasaurus with teeth all over. Sorry, I like saying shit the wrong way. Dinosaur. I'm tossing food to my dog like he's a pigeon. Oh, here you go. God damn it. Hold on a second. I gotta feed my dog, and that's not a euphemism. There you go, buddy. My boy's being such a good boy because we went an extra hour that I had to give him a snacky. Thank you. I enjoyed your content. Have a good night. Thank you, sir. I added words to your sentences. What are the top 2 guns on your rack? So that is a custom AR assembled over time. Franklin Armory binary, unique ARs upper, unique ARs comp, adjustable 750 gas block, Butler adjustable bootleg. Why do I say Butler? Bootleg adjustable BCG, custom stippling, Burris optic on it, and that's a Benelli M2 stock. Lol, Pigeon Rocky. We need a dog stream, just 2 hours of your dog sleeping. I could do that. He's got enough subscribers. He's got almost 200 subscribers on his channel, A Dog and a Dude. So maybe we'll do that on the weekend. Maybe we'll do a weekend dog stream where it's just me and Rocky just watching TV and you guys can just look at him. Night, guys. So to those of you that are interested, at 1:30 this morning, tomorrow morning, coming up, I will be live streaming some VR gaming again. I will do 2 different maps on Ghost at the Boar. I would tune in. Stream Rocky watching Airbud. Can't show copyright. I can't allow too much copyrighted stuff in the background, but I would definitely show you him. I can stream him watching chickens. You can just watch him staring at the TV screen. But yeah, my poor boy. Here, I'm going to give you one last view of the boy. Stay, buddy. He knows when I'm going to film him, which sucks because I never get the good moments anymore. Yeah. So there's Rocky. Say goodnight, Rocky. It's like, I want to go to bed, you bastards. Night, humans and beings. What are you streaming tonight again at 10 p.m. my time? Ghost of Tabor or possibly, I heard Ready or Not has a VR mode. I'm going to check that stuff out tonight. So, shooters and looters. And I may do some hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. We might do random missions. Look at that boy. He's so tired. Yes, I am doing it tonight. As long as I remember to wake up. I will send out a notification a half hour before I start. Because that's all you need. And we'll set up a reminder I want to see. All right. Love, Rocky. I'll be there. Thank you, Paul. KK, good stuff. Thanks. All right, guys. We're outie. Rocky, say goodnight.